Canadian Professional Football. Brought to you by Canadian Pacific, serving you in Canada and around the world. And by Labatt Breweries of Canada Limited, brewers of Labatt's Blue and 50 Ale. Across Canada, beer at its best.
There has been a great deal of rain fall on these Toronto fans in the past 24 hours. It has just now stopped raining, and there's every indication we'll get more of the wet stuff as the afternoon moves on. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tom McKee. The field is not in the best condition, even though they have had a vinyl covering on the field for the past 3 days. The situation was that as they rolled off that vinyl covering, the water, instead of spilling out to the sidelines, spilled back onto the field, and rather than having those days with which to distribute itself evenly and seep into the turf, it instead is lying in puddles in some areas and has made the footing very, very difficult. Standing by in our broadcast booth is Don Chevrier, and he'll check in with Russ Jackson, and I'll be back with an interview in just a moment.
Well, as you know, two-platoon football went out many, many years ago, except that somebody forgot to tell the Ottawa Rough Riders, and in particular, a young man named Wayne Giardino. On many occasions, he has gone both ways for the Ottawa Rough Riders, may do it again today. Russ, talk to him.
Wayne, with all the injuries that the Ottawa club has sustained this year, you've been placed in many positions. Which one do you actually prefer?
Russ, I prefer the corner linebacker position, and it's true I've been around in a lot of positions this year because of injuries, and I think that's the main reason, because of injuries, but I feel more at home at the corner linebacking position.
The running back spot you played near the end of last year, and they had some ideas of you playing in the offensive backfield. Did it work out, do you think, or do you feel that you're just not suited for that position?
No, I don't think it worked out for a few reasons, Russ, and one is we had a lot of changes this year, as you know, and being yourself, one of them that's gone, and we lost a lot of offensive strength, and it didn't work out for me back there, and in a way, I'm glad.
What about the linebacker spot? I think you're probably one of the smaller linebackers. Do you have problems with the guards coming at you? You know, your job is to turn that end sweep in and to contain a great deal. Do you have problems? The guards seem to be getting bigger to me.
The guards are a problem for me. My only asset, I guess, is quickness and being able to read the defense as fast as I can in order to not let them get a full head of steam up and get out in front of me to block me. And other than that, I do fairly well. I am small for the position.
Right. You like to blitz a bit. I know the Ottawa club in the latter few ball games has been coming on more.
Well, this is my specialty. I like to blitz probably as much as I can, or I try and influence the coaches to blitz as much as I can, because probably maybe to take advantage of my quickness and offset the offensive strategy and thinking.
Well, Wayne, have a good game. Now over to Tom McKee.
Well, with me, Russ, under these rainy conditions is Bobby Taylor, number 24. And, Bob, you haven't seen too much action. It must have been very frustrating throughout the season for you to sit in the sidelines and have to watch.
Yes, it has been, Tom. It has been a little tough sitting out. I've never had to do it before, and I'm just glad to be back in there. They weren't able to play again.
Well, obviously, you must be feeling well.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Looking forward to winning everything if we can.
How about that? How about the turf today? How about the cutting? Is it pretty rough?
Well, yeah, it is. You've really got to make sure that you plant real well, otherwise your field will be going underneath you.
Okay, Bob. Well, good luck in the game.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Well, Bobby Taylor's back. Jim Thorpe is back for the Argonauts, but Russ Marv Luster may not be around today. He's been ill the past couple of days, and if he doesn't play, it'll make a big difference for the Argo defense.
Well, it appears that he is probably not going to play, Don. He did not come out for the pregame warm-up, and there are two possibilities that we can figure out that Toronto might do. They could move Aldridge back into his position and put Peter Martin back in as the cornerback, or they could leave Aldridge in his corner and put Sternberg back in Lester's spot, or at least in one of the deep defensive halfback spots. So this is something we'll have to watch for as the game progresses.
What about the Ottawa team? Marshall Shirk, who missed the Montreal game, is back with them, but they have other problems. Billy Joe Booth has a bad leg, and so on down the line.
Marshall is back, but Billy Joe has not been feeling well this week. He had an eye infection and also has been having troubles with the groin injury that's bothered him the last half of the season. And young Wayne Smith may play a little for him. And also Collins is hurting, Doug Collins, and he's apparently going to the hospital for an operation on Monday. And Gus Ravensburg, who had a great game last week in Montreal, could play a lot more for Collins in that defensive tackle spot.
So changes all around on both sides, a game that means much to the Argonauts and pride to the Rough Riders. The Ottawa Rough Riders and the Toronto Argonauts are all set, ready for our national anthem on the opening kickoff after this message.
pick up your refreshments. Try Labatt's 50. Find out why the growing 50 crowd goes for that special 50 kind of enjoyment.
Enjoy yourself wherever you may be. Enjoy yourself. Say 50, that's for me. Stop that 5-0 is enjoyment all the way. We saw it now, bring ball yourself, express yourself, sing, crack yourself, enjoy yourself. Take 5 for 50 and 50. Da-da-da-da.
Well, the first piece in this jigsaw puzzle called the final standings in the Eastern Division of the CFL is about to fall into place here this afternoon. This crowd capacity in Toronto getting ready now for the playing of Old Canada. The referee today is Jim King from Montreal. The line umpire is Gibbs Sagan of Ottawa. Downfield umpire is Bill Dell of Oshawa. The head linesman Art Fagey of Hamilton. The field judge is Lauren Woods from the city of Ottawa. The steady drizzle here, which we've encountered the past 3 hours, persists at the CNE Stadium. And the weather office tells us it's liable to remain throughout much of the afternoon. The Argonauts have 3 deep men. They have Tomlin, number 23, back, with Bill Simons, number 33, in the middle, and Dave Ramey, 14, on the right of your screen. They're getting set for Ivan McMillan's kickoff. McMillan, number 73. You see adjusting the ball for the Ottawa Rough Riders. The kickoff, 5-yard line, Bill Simons. Taken down by Barry Ardern, just short of the Toronto 30-yard line. 57 degrees right now by the stadium weather clock. The wind's out of the east at 9 miles an hour. That means the favoring wind is with the Ottawa Rough Riders in this quarter, as the Argonauts have decided to receive, and they'll start with number 19, Tom Wilkinson at quarterback. Dave Ramey, 14, set behind him. First down, 28. First pass picked off by Clark. At the 20-yard line, the tackle made by Bill Simons.
An indication of what we might expect here. Truss picking that ball off, but not seen on the replay was the fact that the Ottawa Rough Riders on first down were in a full blitz, and I would anticipate a great deal of this from the Ottawa club today, that they are going to come on strong throughout the entire ball game and gamble a great deal.
That pass was tipped into the hands of Crust, and the Riders now just inside the 20. First down, number 10, Gary Wood at quarterback. Ronnie Stewart has 3 yards. That's the 17. Jim Corrigal, the middle linebacker, pushing him back after the advance of about 3 yards.
The Toronto Argonauts have had the upper hand on the Ottawa Rough Riders in the 2 games this season. Argos in the first game 37-21, and then the second time they met it was Argos 30 and Ottawa 25. The Rough Riders are out to correct that situation as much as they can right now.
In that last game here, the Argonauts built a huge lead. The Rough Riders just chipped away and came very close to stealing that game in the final quarter. Lee is set with Wellesley behind the quarterback. And the handoff broken up right away on the very late exchange at the 20-yard line. Wellesley up now, pushing with Corrigal as the tempers run high early in this game. The Argonauts' Mike Bloom thought he had recovered the ball, but the officials say the play had been stopped for the loss of 3 yards at the 20. Wait a minute, they have ruled the fumble does go to the Argonauts, and so they've made their own break here and getting it back. Perhaps we can see this happen again on the exchange.
Terry Wellesley going to the line here, and the defensive play of the Argonauts stopped him cold a yard behind the line, and we can watch for the ball squirting out here as he goes down onto the ground. The ball squirts out there.
So the Argonauts take over. First down at the 20-yard line. Bill Simon. He slipped trying to duck under a tackle and reached the 30-yard line, close to a first down. They'll mark that the knees touched further back than that. Poirier with Vijak in on the tackle. So it is an 8-yard gain, second down and 2 to go.
Don, an indication of the footing out there. You can see where most of the play has taken place, the foot marks, and how the field is tearing apart. And I'm sure by the end of the first half it's going to be in quite a disastrous condition.
Offside indicated. Simons has the first down at the 34-yard line. Al Marcellin, number 33, with the tackle for the Rough Riders. The Rough Riders were offside. So the Argonauts are first down at the 33 as they decline the penalty and accept the gain made by Simons. Tight end is Mel Prophet. Number 75, Bland sets wide right. Thorpe on the left side. Back for the first time in 3 games. Ramey at the 37-yard line has 3 to 4 yards. Dave Ramey not considered to be a strong inside runner with his great moves and speed. But in recent games, the Argonauts have been sending him inside and trying to break Bill Simons on the wide running plays. Very important to the Argonaut attack are their guards, Charlie Bray on the right side, 57. Bob Swift at center with Roger Scales, 51, the left guard. Wide open, Mel Prophet. Met by Crust near center field.
Don, the action of that play was set up for a screen pass, and I believe that Wilkie wanted to go to the right on a screen pass to Simons because the offensive line just blocked occasionally. They let the defensive line come through, but both Booth and Shirk rolled out to cover the screen, and he found Prophet downfield for a big gain.
18-yard gain, first down from the Argonaut 54. Bill Simon, 3 yards of the Ottawa 53. Joe Vijak, defensive end, with the stop. So second down and 7 to go. The Rough Riders forcing a break and not being able to advance the ball after a fumble. The Argonauts getting it back at the 20. And now moving it as far as the Ottawa 53-yard line with this second down play coming up. There's no score. We are in the early minutes here in Toronto in a steady drizzle. The pass intended for Tom Bland to the 45-yard line. Campbell had drifted back to cover him along with Marcellin. So it runs to third down and 7 now. The Argonaut punter, number 16, the veteran Dave Mann. 3 Ottawa receivers back near the 10-yard line awaiting this kick. Cooper, Ardern, and Al Marcellin. Mann hangs it up to Barry Ardern. Walt Balasuk takes him down at the 18-yard line, and there's a timeout on the field with 10:15 to play in this first quarter of the score. Ottawa nothing and Toronto nothing.
Enjoy yourself. Let Disney fun begin. Enjoy yourself. Break out your 50 grin. Pour yourself a 50. It's like pouring out the sun. And when you taste your 50, you know it's the only one.
Try Labatt's 50, and your trying days are over. All on account of that special 50-something that only 50 has. So move with the 50 crowd.
Enjoy yourself. With 50 starting now. Enjoy yourself. Let 50 show you how. The 50 crowd has a welcome just for you. Outwit yourself, commit yourself, assign yourself, outshine yourself, enjoy yourself, enjoy yourself. Take 5 for 50 ale.
That was a 37-yard kick by Dave Mann. The run back was 3. Someone to watch for is 34 defensively for the Argonauts, Jerry Sternberg, with a tall order of filling Marv Luster's shoes this afternoon. Wood for Cooper. Double coverage back there. Dick Thornton and Jerry Sternberg at the sideline. So it'll be second down, 10 to go from the Ottawa 19 in this scoreless game. A little over 5 minutes have elapsed in the first quarter. With Luster out, Chip Barrett, number 30, is calling the defensive signals for the Toronto Argonauts, while Sternberg plays in Luster's spot as the rover. Tomlin now goes right with Thornton to cover the Ottawa strength on the left side. Wood's pass bouncing in and out of the hands of Hugh Oldham at the 35-yard line, so it's third down. Still 10 from the Ottawa 19. What a day Oldham had against the Montreal Alouettes in the 28-12 upset last Saturday at the Autostad.
Don, the Toronto Argonauts disguised their man-to-man and zone defense well those two particular plays. On first down, they played man-to-man with Thornton on Cooper and Tomlin on Oldham, and they lined up that same way on second down, but played a zone defense.
Bill Van Berkeley, 15, gets set to punt to Sternberg, 34, and Aldridge, 31. Aldridge had to cover up at the 54-yard line after that ball squirted loose, and we're liable to see a lot of that today under these moist conditions. And Dever, number 30, right there to pin him for the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Only one game after this in the Eastern Conference to round out the 1970 season, and CBC will be providing comprehensive coverage of the playoffs, including the Grey Cup and the Western Final. And we'll start, but we don't know which city to go to next Saturday afternoon for the first game, or for the game in the semifinals for the East.
All we know is it will not be the city of Ottawa. Wilkinson had Prophet open, but as he noticed him, he was taken down by Marshall Shirk at the 47-yard line.
Russ, you're pretty knowledgeable about these playoff situations. Have you made any plane reservations or hotel accommodation yet?
Not yet, Tom. I think we have to wait until today and probably until tomorrow to find out. Although if Toronto wins today, then they have second place salted away on this match.
Right. The loss was 7 yards. Second down, 17 now. Toronto 47-yard line. Billy Joe Booth and Shirk on one side, Revenberg and Vajak on the other, defensively the front line for the Ottawa Rough Riders. Mel Prophet. Campbell has him at center field. Jerry Campbell, sure first tackle. The gain was 8 to 9 yards, but it'll leave the Argonauts well short by about 8 of their first down objective on third down. Well, Dave Mann, number 16, comes into the backfield for the Argonauts as the Riders send their 3 men, Cooper, Ardern, and Marcelin back near the 10-yard line. There you see them all fanned out. There we are, Dern getting it back near the 25-yard line. So the Rough Riders gained exactly 5 on that exchange of plays. Prophet and Bray downfield, and the 7-minute mark of the first quarter of the score is Ottawa nothing and Toronto nothing.
Enjoy yourself.
At 50 to the pot.
Enjoy
yourself. You like what 50's got. Look at 5-0 and enjoyment to your days. Enjoy yourself. Take 5 for 50.
Little over 7 minutes gone. Still no score. The first quarter. Rough Riders scrimmaging from the 25. First down. Charlie Lee airborne at the 29-yard line for about 4.
You know, one of the unusual things in the Eastern Conference this year, as far as all-star quarterbacks are concerned, is that number 10 for the Ottawa Rough Riders could, even though they're on the bottom of the heap, could very well be named to that position. What do you think, Russ? No?
Well, I'm glad I don't have to vote on that, Tom. It's rather difficult this year because quite a few of the quarterbacks have been out through parts of the season, and this is probably going to influence the votes on it.
A building year.
Second down. Ron Stewart, retained by Mike Wadsworth, number 59. Virtually no gain. Third down and 7 now as the defensive teams predominate here in the early minutes in Toronto. Now, these two teams can manufacture points. Witness the scores given you by Tom on their first 2 encounters this year. They've been running up to 45, 50 points a game between them. Aldridge back with Sternberg near the Toronto 45 for Bill Van Berkeley's kick. On the bounce to Sternberg at the 50-yard line. So each time these teams exchange the ball on punts, the Rough Riders seem to gain about 5 yards. Argonauts start from the 50. Tom Wilkinson is the starting quarterback, as you saw, and Leo Cahill in the past has gone with whoever is moving the team. He does not hesitate to switch back and forth between Wilkinson and number 13, Don Jonas. This is Bill Simon. Tried to elude Ardern there, who managed to contain him while his teammates came up to fill in the play, and it's a loss of 5 yards. Don Krusp and Revenberg finally getting there to make the tackles. It's a 4-yard loss. They put the ball down to the 46-yard line, so it's 2nd and 14 to come now. 6 minutes and 15 seconds to play in this first quarter, no score. Bland 32 and Thorpe 20 both go right with Ramey in the slot. Out of bounds is Tom Bland, number 32, and what a block Dave Ramey threw for the Argonauts as that play unraveled, giving Wilkinson a chance to get the ball away, but he threw it too far. So again, a 3rd down situation and 14 from the 46-yard line.
3rd and 14.
Marsland now goes back to the outside with Ardern in the middle on his punt return team. Cooper on the left side for Dave Mann's kick. That's his best today. Marcelin out to the 23-yard line. Ardern made a fake motion as though he had caught the ball, but nobody was buying that.
Sitting in the broadcast booth with us and enjoying this game this afternoon, the commissioner of the CFL, Jake Gador, and the referee-in-chief, Hab Schuldeis. Did you gentlemen hear them sing the national anthem? I thought they did very well. Ed Sullivan won't call, but they did quite well.
23-yard line. First down for the Rough Riders. Scoreless game. Wood just a step away. Gary Wood, under great pressure, did well to get that ball up. Oldham had a good step or two on Tomlin. The left side of the Argonaut defensive line reacted well on the way of pressure. Gary Inskeep forcing that play, and so now it's 2nd down and 10 from the 23 for the Rough Riders. Charlie Lee, 16, is the fullback. Gary Wellesley, 22, Ron Stewart, 11, 77. Pivot moves as the tight end to the right side, and Hugh Oldham with Billy Cooper are fanned wide left. Pivot, a good catch at the 38-yard line. First down.
The Toronto defense setting up in their zone defense with Pivot coming out on isolated here, runs a curl in over the middle. Mike Bloom pushed him into the middle where he wanted to go and then came out to the outside, leaving a big gap in the middle with Oldham and Cooper going deep and taking the defensive backs out of there. Aldridge, the linebacker, who had dropped back into the hook zone, couldn't get over in the middle in time to knock it down.
Gary Wood now is 1 for 4. That's his first completion. The gain was 15 yards. First down, 38-yard line. Oldham. The rule is no catch. Tomlin hit him. The ball came free. Incomplete is the ruling. The Argonaut fans, of course, buzzing. They felt that he might have had it long enough for the catch and the ensuing fumble. So 2nd down from the 38. Whit Tucker now makes his first appearance. Number 26 comes to the right side. Terry Wellesley out to the bench. Oldham. Picked off by Steinberg. Whit Tucker came back. He was the intended receiver to make the tackle.
Oldham lining up to the left-hand side, coming around taking a little pitch here, similar to a Toronto play they used earlier this year. He laid that ball up there for grabs. Tucker never did have his man beaten, and he wobbled that ball out there like a lame duck, and Sternberg, playing in front of him, just picked it off.
Center field, first down, Toronto. Each team now has had an interception. Fake to Simon. Out to Morrow. Gain of 2 yards at the 53. Barry Ardour, number 20, with the tackle.
On those screen passes, Don, the Ottawa defense is getting inside the offensive blocking before it can set up. The ball is hanging up there a little bit too long on the screen and giving the defensive backs an opportunity to come up and beat that offensive blocker.
Wilkinson has hit on 3 of 6 passes, 28 yards total so far. Mel Prophet at the 35-yard line, met by John Prusk, number 25. There's a timeout on the field with 3 minutes to play, and the first quarter of the score is Ottawa nothing and Toronto nothing.
When you're smiling, sail about you, the beer that smiles with you. It's the true one, brewed for you one, the great one that's true blue. The movie's going, right over the blue. Canada's going for the taste that is true. So keep smiling and sail about blue, the true blue friendly beer.
Climb aboard and see for yourself why Labatt's Blue is making more and more new friends every day.
So when you're smiling, just sail about blue, the true blue friendly beer. Labatt's Blue.
Mel Prophet's catch sets the Argonauts up at the 36. He's got 3 today for 44 yards. And a moment ago, Billy Joe Booth limped out to the sideline for the Ottawa Rough Riders. And of course, he means much to their defense. Young Wayne Smith is in to replace him as the Argonauts go first down. number 20 had the ball in his hands and couldn't hold it against Poirier and crushed at the 5-yard line.
Ottawa in a man-to-man defense here, and Thorpe got in behind Joe Poirier, and Joe putting his hand up, I think, just broke the concentration, and Thorpe couldn't find the handle to the ball.
Now Morrow, number 11, you see going out, and Markle, 76, in with the play from Leo Cahill for Tom Wilkinson. Second down, still 10 from the 36-yard line. 2 minutes and 20 seconds to play in this first quarter. Scoreless game. Again for Thorpe. This time he couldn't get free from Poirier. The ball badly overthrown, so it is 3rd down and 10 now, the 36-yard line. There's a marker down. The indication would be offside. Toronto has been declined by Ottawa, so it goes to 3rd and 10, still at the 36-yard line.
There's quite a story there, too, in the CFL. Number 29, the official Jim King, badly burned earlier this year in a boating accident, and only his superior physical condition enabled him to get back to the point that he is now.
Dave Mann getting ready to kick from the area of the 50-yard line. And it's a good one. Barry Ardern lets it bounce, tries to draw the Argonauts into a no-yards penalty, and does not succeed. It's a single point on the board for the Toronto Argonauts. Ardern rouged in the end zone. The Argonauts score first. 1-0 for Toronto. Billy Joe Booth, we're told, does not have a serious injury. It's just the same ailment that's been plaguing him throughout the latter half of the season, and they expect him back later in the day.
Of course, this could be the last regular game that Billy Joe Booth ever plays in the CFL. He's threatening to retire. I think he did that last year, too, though.
Charlie Lee. The 45-yard line, a gain of 20 yards as he flared out of the backfield to catch the Gary Wood pass. Corrigal and Ron Arends made the tackles.
Don, Gary Wood throwing the ball well this afternoon. He isn't known to like this type of weather. He's talked to me about the Canadian ball, and he'd like to see them change to the Duke ball that they use in the American game. He has trouble on days when the ball is just a little slippery, as it would be today.
First down, 46-yard line. Big charge against Wood. He unloaded the screen. Stewart was there, but the ball didn't arrive in time. So it is 2nd and 10. Dick Aldridge, number 31, was providing the rush against Gary Wood. Minute flag is up now. 55 seconds remaining in the first quarter, with the Argonauts leading the Rough Riders 1-0. And I'm sure we have most members of the Montreal Alouettes in our television audience this afternoon up in Montreal, watching the outcome of this one very closely. Sternberg made a good move against Hugh Oldham to break the play up.
Here we have Tomlin trying to hit Oldham as he came out here, and Sternberg in a free safety spot came across in the zone defense and helped out as Thornton was taken deep by Billy Cooper.
Like you were saying earlier, Russ, that ball had quite a wobble on it, too. Couldn't control it at all.
Van Berkeley, number 15, getting set to kick now. 3rd and 10 from the 46. Sternberg and Aldridge back near the Argonaut 30-yard line. This is Jerry Sternberg. Heads collide at the 29-yard line. Number 60 trotting out there for one of the last times in a lengthy career. Danny Nicolak, he, of course, is to be honored here at halftime. This is Danny Nicolak Day as they honor the retiring offensive tackle of the Argonauts, who spent so many great seasons, and unfortunately losing seasons, in Toronto colors. Tony Moore. Gain of 15, 16 yards at the 45. Barry Ardern, number 20, a very muddy 20, made the stop.
Ottawa changing up there in a zone defense, and they went on with a blitz from the zone.
At the end of the first quarter, the score is Toronto 1 and Ottawa nothing. We'll return to CFL action after this message.
When you're smiling, sailor, that's blue. The beer that smiles with you. It's the true one, brewed for you one. The great one that's true blue. Next time you order, just say Labatt's Blue, 'cause it's the great beer with the taste that is true. So when you're smiling, just say Labatt's Blue, the true blue friendly beer. So when you're smiling, just say Labatt's Blue, the true blue friendly beer. Blue, 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 Labatt's Blue.
Don Chevrier with Russ Jackson, Tom McKee, C&E Stadium in Toronto. We begin the second quarter. The Argonauts lead the Rough Riders 1-0 on a Dave Mann punt that Barry Ardern conceded for a single point late in the first quarter. Line of scrimmage is the Toronto 46-yard line. And Tom Wilkinson, 19, gets set to bring the Argonauts out to the first down play. Total offense in the first quarter, minimal because the defenses were the predominant forces, 69 yards Toronto and 36 yards for the Ottawa Rough Riders. Tom Bland wide left, Jim Thorpe, number 20 on the right side. Ramey and Simon set behind Wilkinson. Fake to Simon. Mel Prophet. 42-yard line. And he's been the favorite target today for the long gainers by Wilkinson.
Zone defense with the Ottawa Rough Riders, and Mel Prophet, as we see here, comes off the line, and he runs a little post pattern into the middle, and Jerry Campbell loses him here and isn't quite sure where he is, and Wilkie finds Prophet for a big gain.
Prophet may not run far when he catches the ball, but he certainly makes sure of them, and more important, works himself into the open time and time again.
And he can also fall an additional 2 yards, Don.
Or more. 42-yard line now. First down for Toronto. Markle, wide left. Poirier lost the ball. He had the interception, had to turn around in time, but couldn't. Markle was the intended receiver.
Don, I think Joe Poirier was surprised that ball got to him because it went right through Markle's hands, and he had Joe beaten on a man-to-man defense on a little bend-in pattern, and the ball went right through Markle's hands into Poirier's and bounced off his chest.
Second and 10 from the 42 of Ottawa. Morrow back in now, and Markle out to the bench. Morrow on the left side. Simons in the slot left. Ramey the only setback behind Wilkinson. Thorpe right with Bland. Simons cut down at the 40-yard line. The gain is only 2. Marcelin, though, is not up. 31, Al Marcelin on the collision with Bill Simons. You see him there.
We've seen this happen so many times this year with one of the defensive backs coming up and taking on one of these strong offensive halfbacks, and we'll watch again here, and I feel that Simons caught Marcelin with a knee here on the side of the head. Right there we see the knee on the side of the head.
Simons a powerful runner with those legs churning all the time.
That was very similar to the injury Larry Fairholm suffered a couple of weeks ago in Montreal when he hit Jim Young, or Jim Young hit him.
Marcelin, you see, very slowly now, getting to one knee. And up. He's been an outstanding find for the Rough Riders in 1970. Abundance of speed, reliable defensive back, kickoff return man, punt return man. But they will not have him for the next few plays at least here in Toronto. A collision with Bill Simons. The gain of about a yard in that last play, so it's 3rd down and 9. The line of scrimmage is the 41-yard line.
Little landscaping going on here with the officials. There's a lot of water right under the top surface of the grass. As soon as they break through the grass, there's quite a bit of water underneath.
Cooper and Ardern, the only 2 men back now for the punt now that Marcelin has been taken to the Ottawa bench. Another fine kick by Dave Mann, 15 yards deep in the end zone, and Barry Ardern's going to make it a 2-0 game.
Lost that one out there like a forward pass.
He got his foot into that. That's the first punt that Dave Mann has had with this breeze at his back, and these points are going to mount up, and they could make a big difference to the outcome of this ball game.
That one traveled 56 yards. The favoring wind at the outset of the game was about 9 miles an hour out of the east, and the Argonauts enjoy that benefit here in this quarter. First down, Rough Riders from the 25 as Gary Wood has the play. Charlie Lee. Caught by Jim Tomlin, number 23. Virtually no gain at the 26.
Don, the Toronto Argonauts are making it very difficult for Gary Wood to read the defenses. Thornton and Tomlin are lining up on number 27 Oldham and number 23 Cooper on all defenses, no matter where they go. And from there, they are either playing their man-to-man or their zone defense. So to get a key as to who is covering which man is very difficult when they're going to do this here.
Report from the Ottawa bench is that Al Marcelin can be expected back. He's a little fuzzy right now after that collision, but apparently all right. Mike Bloom chasing Gary Wood. And Oldham could not contain the ball at the 35-yard line.
I'm not sure whether this was a mix-up on the Ottawa offense, because Whit Tucker had lined up to the right and came to the left, and then they tried to set up the blocking, and Mike Bloom was let go free here, and Gary Wood did an outstanding job of getting free of Harrington and Bloom to get this ball to Oldham, and they had a first down had he been able to hang on to it.
Third down from the 26-yard line. Bad snap, and Berkeley back to the end zone, picks it out. And that will be a 2-point safety touch. 2 points, Bloom checking to make sure they rule it that way, and that's the indication, the official bringing his hands together over his head.
It's quite a gamble, Don, in kicking that ball, because if he had missed it, the Toronto Argonauts could have fallen on it for a touchdown.
Shades of Harvey Wiley and the Calgary Stampeders, Winnipeg Blue Bombers in that Western final years ago. They're having a meeting. Let's take another look at it.
The ball going over Billy Van Berkelio's head, not having much opportunity to field it, and was in the end zone before Billy kicked it.
The man they can blame for that is Doug Speck.
It's in the end zone now, and he kicks it out.
So they award the 2 points. 4-0 is the score. And the Rough Riders will start from the 25-yard line. Meantime, some of the Argonauts asking for further clarification from the officials. Pete Martin, 77, Aldridge, 31. 11 minutes and 45 seconds remain until halftime, and we'll be showing you the ceremonies here honoring Danny Nicolak, the retiring Argo lineman, at halftime. The pass for Ronnie Stewart a bit too far. Gene Wren came in for the first time in the Rough Rider backfield in that last play. So second down and still 10 from the 25 as the Riders seemed locked in that spot, unable to move away. They had 2 previous plays before the high third down snap by Doug Speck and the safety touch from the 25.
And those points start to add up, Don. 1 here, 1 there. It's up to 4 now. That's better than a field goal advantage.
Well, a field goal makes it a 1 converted touchdown lead. Oldham on the left side. Dave Pivick at the 52-yard line. That's one of the Riders' best gains today. And again, like Profit, the Argos tight end, the Riders go to theirs. Pivot.
Peter Martin came in late to replace Jim Corrigal, and he never did appear to get set in the position he wanted to be.
There's a timeout on the field with 11 minutes to play in the second quarter. The score, Toronto 4 and Ottawa nothing.
This is the Lambert family. They don't know much about CP Rail, but we've had a lot to do with them anyway. For instance, we brought Mrs. Lambert's ham from Saskatchewan, her dress from Montreal, George's pipe from Quebec City. We know their car, too. We delivered it from the plant. Their boat came from Vancouver, the cooler from Kitchener, Diane's doll from Toronto. The barbecue's from Winnipeg, the trailer from Alberta. We used the new flat cars for that. We brought the apples from BC in a refrigerator car. From the Maritimes, we brought their...
Funny how involved you get with people when you're on a railway. And you know, it keeps changing the way we look, because we keep building different kinds of freight cars to help us get different kinds of goods to you. CP Rail, another way Canadian Pacific serves you.
Dave Pivek's second catch of the afternoon, measuring 26 yards, gives him 41 yards now in 2 receptions today as the Rough Riders go first down from their own 51. Oldham is on the left side with Billy Cooper. Out to Pivek. He couldn't beat the first man. Had he beaten Chip Barrett, number 30, who made a sure tackle, the sideline was open to him. The 2-yard gain makes it second down and 8 from the 53. Just over 10 minutes until the half now. 4-0 is the score. Toronto on the top end. The Riders got a big break early in the first quarter when they picked off a pass by Crust down to the 20, but failed to capitalize. In fact, lost the ball themselves 2 plays later on a fumble. That's the closest they've been. Tucker now is into the game again, the left side. Wren, 32 on the right side. Very good. Taken down by Ed Harrington. A loss. He's 13 yards back at the 40. It produces a 3rd and 20 situation for the Rough Riders, who again run out of gas. As Aldridge goes back with Sternberg near the 35-yard line to await the kick from Van Berkelio, who, of course, is very attentive towards the snap here, bearing in mind the last one that came out, resulting in a safety touch. This one's right on the mark. Aldridge, back at the 37-yard line, was pulled down by Danny Devers.
Bobby Taylor coming into the game, Don.
And that is what the cheering is all about. Number 24, back for the first time in more than 6 weeks after a knee injury. Al Marcelin's spot on defense taken by Frank Llewellyn now, 14 to the Rough Riders. For Simon. Oh, good. Had the ball for a moment against Ardern and couldn't keep possession.
Wilkinson got good protection here, and he got that ball out there, but he didn't quite throw it far enough, and it was a battle between Ardern and Simons all the way, with Simons getting an opportunity to make a great catch. Ardern just knocking it away at the last minute.
Second down, still 10, 37-yard line. Score 4-0, just under 9 minutes of time remaining in the first half. So 2 replacements in this game already defensively for the Rough Riders. Wayne Smith, and now Marcelin is back into the game for the first time since he was shaken up. Profit. Broke a tackle for another 10 yards. Finally stopped by Marcelin and Van Berkelio. After Barry Ardern couldn't hold him.
That was another example of Profit being able to fall the additional 3 yards, too.
The ball is at the 51 of Ottawa for the first down play. Bobby Taylor, 21, the bottom of your screen, the right side. Jim Thorpe, 20 at the top. Dave Ramey. Reaches the 48 for about 3. Charlie Bray, 57, with a good lead block. But there were other people in the Ottawa defensive lineup in behind Bray there to make the tackle. Gus Revenberg was the principal defender. To make it second down and 6 now. They have the ball at the 47-yard line of the Rough Riders. And the conditions here have improved tremendously since the start of this game. Ceiling has lifted, and the drizzle is just about leveled off. Ramey surrounded quickly, no gain near the original line of scrimmage. Jerry Campbell, 54, shut him off as Wilkinson had to bail out the escape pass.
Campbell going back in a straight zone defense with Wilkinson setting up a middle screen, and then he finds his footing and comes back and helps with the tackle.
Third down, Dave Mann again, putting his boot to work here on behalf of the Argonauts. And it's a dandy. Into the end zone again. And Ardern will kneel once more and concede yet another single point. 52 yards, the length of that kick. Score now 5-0. At the 8-minute mark of the second quarter, the score is Toronto 5 and Ottawa nothing.
This quarter of Canadian professional football is being brought to you by
Canadian Pacific. Serving you in so many ways.
Dave Mann has been averaging 46 yards in this game. And he's been responsible for the majority of the Argonaut points. 6 of them here, or 5 of them, a 5-0 lead. Gene Wren. He'll lose a yard on the grass of number 54 of the Toronto Argonauts, Ed Harrington.
Wren and Lee, those relative newcomers to the Ottawa backfield, have certainly not enjoyed Canadian weather. I think they've only played on one dry field in all the games they've had so far. Of course, Ottawa's had a rough year. They've had rain in 12 of their 14 games.
Jack Gatto was saying before the game that he plans to work as a rainmaker somewhere where they have trouble moistening the crops in the offseason. Seems to follow him wherever he goes.
Good name for a movie, Jake Goda and the Rainmakers.
The interception by Barrett. Home free. Chip Barrett took off like a rocket.
The Toronto defense expecting a screen. The linebackers more or less stayed up here, and Chip Barrett was left alone back there, and it appeared that Gary Wood had an opportunity to hit the receiver, but he laid back behind the receiver, stepped in front of him, and had a free go to the end zone.
That makes it 11-0 Argonauts, with Don Jonas now in to attempt the extra point. Number 25, Dick Thornton's going to hold the ball for him. Indicator, a further indicator of how defensive play has been very big here today. The first touchdown, the result of a fine defensive move by Barrett. Jonas makes it a 12-0 football game. So it's 12-0. Barrett to return that ball about 33 yards. And we have 5 minutes and 44 seconds until halftime. Tomorrow, the Montreal Alouettes and the Hamilton Tiger Cats, the final Eastern scheduled game at the Autostade in Montreal. And with the result today in about an hour and a half, the teams will at least know, in more precise terms, what they're shooting for. They could be aiming for not first or second, but first or third place. Mann, 16, getting the ball squared away for the kickoff. And it is flat. Hugh Oldham into a puddle of water across the 40-yard line. Dave Mann, one of his rare defensive gestures, downfield with the tackle. So they place it at the 41. The lights here, of course, have been on since before the start of this game.
The playoff scheduled in the CFL on CBC, of course, next Saturday afternoon. Then on November 14th and 18th from the West, if necessary, also on the 22nd of November, and of course the Grey Cup 4 weeks from today from this football field.
Again, Hugh Oldham unable to make the reception. Good collision there with Jerry Sternberg, pried the ball loose.
Oldham isn't getting much freedom this afternoon. Tomlin playing over top of him, runs him off his pattern here, trying to hold him up, and then Tomlin getting great help from Sternberg, who is on the spot playing that free rover position or free safety position.
He's doing an admirable job in place of Marv Luster. Second down and still 10 from the 41 for the Rough Riders, who trailed 12-0. Cooper and Oldham are set to the left side. They go right to Whit Tucker. And Tucker may have the first down at the 53-yard line. In fact, he does. The gain is 12, and the Argonaut Rough Riders move the sticks. Defensively for Toronto, they have Gary Inskeep, a late cut from New York of the National Football League, at one defensive end. Ed Harrington, 54 at the other, and Mike Wadsworth, 59, and Walt Balasek, 64 at the defensive tackle. Jim Corrigal plays the middle, 79. Aldrich, 31, and Mike Bloom, 70 at the other linebackers. For Oldham, good coverage there by Thornton and by Jim Tomlin, as they all go for a trot around the track. Second down and 10 from the 53-yard line. And the Riders have really encountered difficulty in moving beyond midfield, save that first thrust on the interception by Crust at the 20. In fact, this is their best advance since that very early stage of this game. And Pete Martin in for Jim Corrigal on that last play. Made the tackle on Dave Pivick, but not before Pivick had collected a first down inside the 45-yard line of Toronto.
Don, that appeared to be almost the same play that Chip Barrett intercepted on last time. The linebackers came back to help, but Pivick coming over the middle there managed to find an opening, and Gary Wood hit him perfectly.
Ran wide right, and Cooper on the left side with Hugh Oldham now for the Rough Riders. First down, 44-yard line. And the blitz by Corrigal, and Gary Wood's down for a loss at center field. Corrigal with a clear path at the Ottawa quarterback. Boy,
Boy, he came out of there. That coracle can really move. He came out of there like it's already tonight. Somebody's chasing.
11 yards was the deficit on the play, so they go second and 21 from midfield. Oldham left with Cooper. For Whit Tucker. He can hang on. The juggling act against Ron Arends and Dick Aldridge inside the 15-yard line.
Toronto in his own defense.
Time out on the field, Ross, with 2:37 to play in the second quarter. The score is Toronto 12 and Ottawa nothing.
When we say that you get good service at a CP hotel, we mean good service. And you get our good service wherever you go, whether you stay at the Chateau Frontenac in Quebec City, the Palliser in Calgary, the Saskatchewan in Regina, the Empress in Victoria, or at any of the other fine CP hotels across the country. CP Hotels, another way Canadian Pacific serves you.
Third and 21 from midfield. And Berkeley Old getting set to punt. Sternberg and Aldridge back at the 20-yard line. Hangs it up to Aldridge. And he's taken down at the 19. In fact, if they want to go after Aldridge, once he turns his back there, they can grab him by that towel he has draped around himself. Wayne Smith made the tackle. The 19-yard line starts the Argonauts out first down. About 2:20 to play in the half.
Boy, that field is certainly being chewed up, Don, tremendously. They're lifting that turf right off, down about 3 or 4 inches in some cases.
Reminds me when I follow you around the golf course.
It's the safest place to be. Follow me.
Bill Simons, Marcelin, as they dig up some more of the C&E turf. The loss is 6 yards back at the 13. So second down and 16 to go.
Well, I'll tell you, you look down on a field like this, and it does seriously get you thinking about that artificial turf. Very expensive, but it certainly has some merit.
They had the tarp down here until about an hour before the game, but of course in rolling it up, the water just oozed off onto the surface. And more rain, and here we are. Wilkinson will give up 2 points.
Markle trying to go down the sideline here. He throws a block and then tries to break downfield to find himself open, but he was well covered by Poirier, who was back in his zone. And Wilkinson seemed to lose track of where he was, back by the goal line about this time, and was caught for a big safety touch.
Young Wayne Smith made the tackle and resulted in the score. And now, of course, this happens in the final 3 minutes, and the Argonauts must give up the ball on a kickoff. That rule is there to discourage teams who are behind, say, before halftime at the end of the game in the final 3 minutes, from repeatedly giving up 2 points and getting the ball back at the 25. And so they must kick off now from the 25-yard line. Dave Mann has it again at the 25, lying in another flat position. But first, Dave's got to attend to his boots. fact, he's undergoing a change of footwear right there.
Don, I've been in that position that Wilkinson was in there a couple of times during my career, and you feel rather frustrated after that because with only about a minute and 45 seconds to go in the ball game, you could punt it out to about the 45 or 50-yard line and make the other team work for the points. But when you give 2 points away just because you lose your sense of direction and exactly where you are in the field, it is rather frustrating for the quarterback.
Now, man puts the ball in the upright position in the tee to get some distance here, as field position will be important to the Rough Riders in the final minute and 42 seconds here. 12-2 is the score. You Oldham. He just couldn't get away. The ball came free around the 50-yard line, but I think the whistle had gone. And they indicate the ball remains in the possession of the Ottawa Rough Riders at the 50 of Toronto. And again, it was Dave Mann supplying the Argonaut tackle. A minute and 34 left now until halftime. Reminder again about the ceremonies honoring Danny Nicolak. We'll be covering them for you from the C&E Stadium. Now some added yardage being tacked on. Down to the 36-yard line. This is the game's first penalty. It is for rough play against the Toronto Argonauts. And so the Rough Riders have an excellent chance to go in here and narrow this lead before time expires in the second quarter. Ed Harrington pleading the case on behalf of the Argonauts to no avail. There's a look at Gary Wood, the offensive unit of the Ottawa club. Gene Wren sets wide right. Oldham 27, Cooper 23 on the left side. And a rule they took too long. The whistle sounded. The gain is only a yard. Ron Stewart was carrying.
Nobody wants to pick the ball up, Don.
I sure would before the whistle sounded, but no one's inclined to do so afterward. It is going to be second down. At the 36-yard line is the Rough Riders charged with the delay of game. With Tucker now on the right side back into the offensive lineup of the Rough Riders. A quick throw broken up by Chip Barrett against Dave Pivick at the 25-yard line. Pivick's been around this league, brief flings with the Argonauts and Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the past. A minute and 16 remain now, and it's third down from the 36 and still 10 to go. A field goal would leave them 7 points apart, but the Rough Riders are going. For Tucker, no good. And so Ottawa will lose the ball on down. The Argonauts taking over at the 36-yard line with 1:13 to play in the second quarter. Bobby Taylor is still in the Argonaut offensive lineup now. He did not start the game, came in early in the second quarter to a rousing ovation. Jim Thorpe, number 20, also in there, standing alongside of Taylor in the Argonaut huddle. And this is the way they started the season and planned to go in 1970 until a wave of injuries came along to change plans. Dave Ramey bends for maybe a yard at the 37, met by Gus Revenberg, number 52. Second down and 8.5, 9 yards to go. The ball between the 36 and the 37. Marcelin back in with Van Berkeley, Cross, Poirier, and Ardern as the deep backs. The corner is Dan Dever on the right side and Wayne Giardino on the left. And Jerry Campbell, 54, plays the middle. Bobby Taylor's first catch. At the 49-yard line, it's a first down.
The Ottawa defense in a prevent-type zone defense, and Bobby Taylor running one of his favorite patterns, a little square out about 8 or 10 yards downfield, and he gets out of bounds to stop the clock.
Now Taylor moves left with Jim Thorpe. Dave Ramey in the slot right. Taylor again. Can't bring this one down. Incomplete. Clock shows 42 seconds. Taylor stops to dry his hands from the official's towel. Mel Prophet. Big day for the towel concession here. 2nd and 10, 49-yard line of Toronto. 12-2, Argos lead. Taylor, Morrow, Thorpe all go left, leaving Simons in behind Wilkinson. For Dave Ramey, broken up by Van Berkeley. Now 35 seconds remain. 3rd down and 10. Ardern, Cooper, and Marcelin all going back, and then Marcelin comes back up into a normal spot, taking the other two for the Dave Mann punt. Off the side of his foot, and Cooper just runs it out, stopping the clock at the 18-yard line. 30 seconds remain now. And there's the minute flag. Halftime fast approaching here at the CNA. You Oldham. He's had trouble getting to Oldham. Several great chances, but he has failed to make the majority of catches until now at the 27-yard line, where he is close to a first down. Dick Aldridge and Jim Corrigal made the tackles. 25 seconds remain. Just short by 1 of the first down.
All that action took exactly 5 seconds, Don.
Intercepted by Aldridge. 9 seconds left on the clock. Bumped out at the 17.
Again, I think a misread defense here with Aldridge dropping back and playing the ball perfectly. We don't see him here, but he's laying off, and he steps in front of the intended receiver and makes a great catch here. And being very alert and running down the sideline, he heads out of bounds, realizing that he cannot go too much further, rather than take another 4 or 5 yards if he went inside.
They're going to go with the field goal attempt right away. Don Jonas, number 13. Thornton, 25, kneeling to hold at the 24-yard line, the angle right. And he has it. And that took all of 3 seconds. We have 6 remaining here in the first half. 15-2 now, a lead of 13 points for the Toronto Argonauts over the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Two interceptions, Don, have certainly plagued the Ottawa offense here, and again has put a lot of pressure on the Ottawa defense in giving field position, although on the 2 interceptions, one returned for the touchdown, and this one, the immediate play after the interception, going for the 3 points.
This should be the final play of the second quarter. Wood going back into the middle for Billy Cooper, incomplete. And that takes care of the opening 30 minutes here at the C&E. The score is Toronto 15 and Ottawa 2. We'll bring you our halftime show after this message.
Clickety-click, clickety-click. Romantic? Not to us. At CP Rail, that clickety-click is something we want to smooth out. That's why we're constantly checking those big steel wheels. We want them smooth. And it's why we make sure that every one of the 3,000 horses in this diesel engine is pulling its share of the load smoothly. And it's why we're installing rails that are almost a quarter of a mile long. That way, there are fewer joints to go clickety-click. The result is a smoother ride for you and your freight. At CP Rail, we're after constant improvement in our equipment, methods, and service. Improvement from the rail up. CP Rail, another way Canadian Pacific serves you.
A special day or occasion is the way that sports people have of recognizing and paying tribute to a man who has dedicated himself to his favorite sport and his team, whatever that may be. And there is no better example of a player like that than the player they are honoring here at the C&E Stadium today, Danny Nicoluk of the Toronto Argonauts. And it's been a long career for big number 60. This is his 180th consecutive game in uniform, and he has played in all 217 games in the CFL, including playoffs. He joined Argos in 1955 from Balmy Beach, and strange as it may seem, he missed the next season, not because of a football injury or because of the fact that he couldn't make the club, but because of a hockey injury. And that occurred when Danny was playing in a charity hockey game in the off-season and hurt his elbow. Danny Nicoluk is a sportsman, a true sportsman, and all that one should be. He hunts, he has dogs for that purpose, he golfs, he works out, and he stays in shape even in the off-season. And in general, keeps himself tremendously busy. He even builds his own homes and now is living in house number 3. Nicoluk has enjoyed playing these 16 years with the Toronto Argonauts. However, many of those years have been mighty lean for team victories. Now, of course, in this his retirement year, he would like to cap it all off with the Grey Cup because he is a member of a potential Grey Cup winner in this season. Danny Nicoluk was an Eastern All-Star in the Eastern Conference in 1967 and 1969, and he is big and he is strong, 6'3", 250 pounds. And he's seen a lot of football faces here with the Argonauts come and go over the years. People like Tobin Rote, Ronnie Knox, Billy Shipp, Menon Schriever, Peter Liss, Carl Sweetan, Jackie Parker, and of course Cookie Gilchrist. And also coaches like Bill Swiacki, Steve Owen, Lou Agassi, Nobby Wierkowski, and Bob Shaw, and of course Leo Cahill. Danny Nicoluk has outlived them all, with the exception, of course, of the present coach, Leo Cahill. On the field, special ceremonies are underway, and I'll switch you over now to Don Chevrier to describe them for you. Don?
Well, this is Danny Nicoluk's day, as you've said, Tom, and a man who had a similar day here at the C&E not too many years ago. Great halfback Dick Shatto is in charge of the Danny Nicoluk Day ceremonies here this afternoon. And you can see in the background of the party there on the platform just some of the many awards that are going to Danny. Here's Dick.
It was 5 years ago this month that this same experience happened to me. And I certainly although Danny Nicoluk has mentioned many times that when he leaves the game this year, you won't see him again. But your enthusiasm, the enthusiasm of the press, radio, and TV, will linger with him all his life. And we, his friends, are here today to pay tribute to the 16 years of dedication, desire, effort, and determination that Danny has shown you. I would first of all like to introduce you to a couple of people. First of all, it started many years ago, and I'd like to bring out now Danny's mother and father, Mr. and Mrs. Nicolak. A player's wife goes through just as much misery as the ball player. To put up with the unpredictable moods of an athlete takes a certain kind of woman. And Lil Nicolak has been that woman. I'd like to bring her out now. Now for the fellow that's given you so many years of enjoyment and who the game is dearly going to miss, number 60, Danny Nicolak. I would first of all like to call on the chairman of the Argonaut Football Club and a true sportsman, Mr. John Bassett.
Ladies and gentlemen, that reminds me of the great cheer I got 5 years ago at the same time, same kind of an occasion. I'm very happy today, on behalf of the Argonaut directors and the fans in this community, to give Danny Nicolak a symbolic sweater. Number 60 is Danny Nicolak's number. It will never again be worn by an Argonaut. I only have one final hope and wish for this great athlete who is captain of this team, and that is that the last game he plays and the last time that number 60 is seen on an Argonaut sweater, it'll be when Danny, as our captain, goes up to get the Grey Cup.
I would now like to call Ron Barbaro, the president of the Argo Playgap Club, for a presentation.
On behalf of Canada's most successful fan club, the Toronto Playback Club, we are giving Danny a beautiful watch. Plus, as you people know, we make many, many trips out of town following the Argos, and we always stay at the Skyline Hotel, and they have graciously donated, along with Air Canada, 1 week's vacation in Kingston, Jamaica for the Nicolaks. Danny?
Now, the players are on the sideline to help pay tribute, and I'd like to call one of the co-captains, Pete Markin, to make a presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege at this time to present to Danny, on behalf of the players, the coaching staff, the equipment manager, the ball boys, and Stan, our trainer, the beautiful yellow Skidoo. All I can say at this time is that Danny will be missed by his teammates, both on and off the field. Thank you.
Danny, you have many other friends that wanted to pay tribute to you. And on the trailer behind you are a number of things that people have sent in, and I'd like to read them off to you. You have a set of 5 Dual S90 tires from General Tire. You have a 101 field rifle from Jim, Nick, and Dick. You also have, you're looking for furniture. Toronto Bedding have a queen-size bed for you. Your friends in Oshawa send along a cash donation so that you and Lil can go out and buy some furniture. Canadian Golf Craft have donated a set of golf clubs for your
So this
summer
is Danny
enjoyment.
Nicolak today, not his final day, certainly, in the colors of the Toronto Argonauts, because the Argonauts are hopeful they'll have many more games, including the semifinal, of course, next week. They're not sure where it's going to be, but they can be assured that Danny will be there. And he's a very unusual kind of individual, one who rarely, if ever, watches a football game on television. He says that when he does retire, he will not be back to the CNE, even as a spectator. He said for him, football is a game that he enjoys to play, but really can't bear to watch. And so Danny, the most unusual kind of guy, being given the highest tribute here today on the part of the Argonaut football fans and his teammates. He's been through 16 tough seasons. Tom McKee mentioned some of the coaches he's worked under, many of the personalities and players that he has worked with on the offensive line, but never has he been on a winning team, a Grey Cup team, because the Argonauts simply, since 1952, haven't been there. And so, as was the case with Russ Jackson last year, the storybook finish, going to a Grey Cup game, many of these fans here in Toronto are certainly hoping that the same fortune befalls Danny Nicolak here in 1970 with the Argonaut football team.
But not on the wagon are the thousands of good wishes and cheers that the fans...
Nicolak has had his share of injuries over the years. In fact, at the start of this season, he almost didn't make it. He had a back injury that Leo Cahill thought might keep him out for the entire season, and for him, his career. But he recovered very quickly, got back for the first league game, and hasn't looked back since.
Number 16, Danny will never look back and remember it forever.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has to be the greatest day of my life, and I have a lot of people to thank. Number one is my wife. It's pretty hard to live with a guy during the football season. I want to thank my mother and father, management, the directors of the Toronto Argonaut Football Club, coaches, the ball players, the equipment boys of the Toronto Argonauts. I have to thank a guy who's a personal friend, and I think without his work, this day wouldn't be possible. That's Dick Shadow. I would also like to thank all the people who donated the gifts, all the guys that helped Dick, Ron Barbero, Joe Robert, Herb Kearney, and if I forgot anybody else, I'm sorry. But I think that the people I have to thank the most are you, the fans. You've been loyal to the Toronto Argonaut Football Club for all the 16 years I've been here, and I think that the only way that I can repay you or the rest of the ball players can repay you bringing the Grey Cup to Toronto this year. Thank you.
The score is Toronto 15 and Ottawa 2, and we will continue with our halftime show after this message.
You know, I hate to say it, but my boss is a big grump. Really, he gets mad at me for the tiniest little mistakes. Well, like the other day, he had to go to Vancouver on business. Well, I made his reservation with CP Air, and he blew his stack. Was he mad? He's never flown CP Air before. I'll bet he didn't even know they flew nonstop between Toronto and Vancouver. They go to Winnipeg and Ottawa and Calgary, Edmonton and Montreal. Well, you know, just about everywhere. Well, anyway, today he came in and hammered on the desk and told me to book him CP Air wherever he goes and not to forget it. Everything was just great. And then today he gave me these roses. You know, they say travel with CP Air is a global affair. I could hardly wait until he goes to Europe.
CP Air, another way Canadian Pacific serves you.
This is the CBC Television Network.
As we take a look at the statistics for the first half of today's game, first of all, let us remind you that Toronto is in the lead by a score of 15-2, and most of the action has certainly been around the ground. The fact is that, or most of the action has been through the air, rather, because on the ground, the footing is just simply too slippery, and they just can't get going. A good indication of that, Ramey, for example, has carried only 6 times, and his total yardage is only 8, while Lee, for Ottawa, has carried only 2 times, and his total yardage is just 4. A little different story, though, when it comes to plays from scrimmage. In fact, Ottawa really has a slight advantage because they have had 36 plays from scrimmage for Toronto's 34. Ottawa has rushed 7 times, Toronto 9, passed 24 times, Toronto has passed 18, and in punting, Ottawa has punted 5 times, Toronto 6 times, and that's where they really got on the scoreboard first because, of course, Dave Mann booted for 3 single points. In passing, Profit 5 times for 89. He was the big guy for Toronto. Pivic for Ottawa 4 for 56. And the score again, Toronto 15, Ottawa 2. We'll continue with our halftime show after this message.
The Heart and Lorne Terrific Hour, featuring Steve Weston, Marvin Goldhar, Carol Robinson, George Raymond, Paul Bradley, and Jane Eastwood. With musical guests Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee and Melanie. And now the stars of our show, Heart and Lorne.
Now, I understand you've just spent 4 months 50 fathoms below the surface of Hudson's Bay.
Well, that's true, yes.
How is our old friend the elk?
Oh, the elk.
You do not like the elk, do you?
I do not particularly care for the elk, no.
You are a mountie.
Yes, I am. I have the belt and the red and everything. I'm a
Yes.
mountie. You don't know who you are?
No.
Oh, I know what you got. You got, oh, don't tell me. I took it in school.
Welcome to the Heart and Lorne Terrific Hour.
It's going to be terrific.
Terrific.
Heart and Lorne Terrific Hour, 9 o'clock tomorrow night, 9:30 in Newfoundland.
And as usual, we check in with Russ Jackson now for his videotape highlights of that first 30 minutes. Russ?
Tom, it's been a first half of interceptions, and certainly some of the replays will show us some of the key interceptions. The first play of the ball game here we have Wilkinson going back, and Ottawa blitzed off a zone defense, and Crust, number 25, played zone, stayed back, and the ball wasn't thrown too well, but picked it off and put Ottawa in good position for the opening, after the opening play, but from there they couldn't move the ball and didn't score. Sternberg came back with an interception off a rather razzle-dazzle play by Ottawa, with Oldham trying to throw to Tucker, but we don't see Tucker on the screen, but he was never open. He was double covered, and Oldham didn't give any fake to run here. As soon as he got the ball, I think Toronto knew he was going to throw, and Sternberg, who's played a strong game, goes up and picks the ball off. Mel Prophet is having a fine ball game for the Argonauts. In fact, both tight ends, Pivic and Prophet, and they both have that ability to get in the open. And here we have Prophet going down and taking one of his 3 or 4 catches for the first half, finding that open spot. And this is an ability that a tight end must have, and Prophet exemplifies, I think, one of the best in the country. Ottawa is blitzing. We'll see Wayne Giardino and Campbell, not on the screen, blitz to the strong side of the Toronto offensive set. And Wilkinson makes a great call, coming back again. Ottawa in that zone with the blitz, and coming back to the weak side to Morrow. And I think we might see more of this in the second half, because Ottawa is blitzing to that strong side of the Toronto set. I mentioned Pivic earlier as the other tight end in this ball game, and he's made 2 or 3 catches for the Ottawa Rough Riders. And here Gary Wood, getting good protection this time, finds Pivic downfield for about a 25-yard gain. It's that ability of a tight end to go downfield and find the open spot, because quite often he's in traffic and he has to have good concentration, and both Pivic and Prophet have shown that today. Chip Barrett makes a fine interception. He plays back. Again, we don't see him on the screen, but Gary Wood got good protection here. He tried to hit Pivic coming over the middle, and here we see Chip Barrett. The ball was thrown low and had a wobble on it, and Chip Barrett stepped in front of Pivic and had nothing between him and the sideline. Watch Harrington as he tries to throw a block over the goal line on Gary Wood. Gives coaches nightmares to think that he might clip him there, and the play might be called back. Late in the game, Ottawa, in the first half, Ottawa got their 2 points when Wilkinson went back on second down situation and wanted to screen to the left here, but he got into trouble. He lost sight of exactly where he was, and when he reversed around to the left, he was tackled for a safety touch, and they were forced to kick after that. The last interception of the half came with not too much time remaining. Aldridge showing great concentration, again in a zone defense, stayed to the outside. He goes up, concentrates on the ball, makes sure he catches it, heads down the sideline, and he shows really good sense, I think, here, in smart football ability, realizing he might have gone inside for 5 more yards, but they might have run out of time. Tucker, who hasn't played too much, is going downfield here to try and catch a post pattern coming into the middle, and again, Gary having trouble reading the defenses. Arendz is in his zone defense. He does it well. He does not lose sight of the ball, and even though Tucker had him beat, Sternberg, who is playing that free safety, comes back here, and Arendz knocks the ball down, but at first I felt if he had thrown the ball further, Tucker might have scored, but Sternberg was back there as the free safety, and I'm sure would have had a chance to knock the ball down or maybe have the interception. So he has been playing a fine ball game, Sternberg, in Lester's spot.
Russ, I was rather surprised that the Argonauts didn't try to hold on to that ball for the last 10 seconds after they picked off the last interception. Why didn't they try to go for scoring a major? And they went for the 3 points, but they gave up.
Well, Tom, this is one of those calls with 9 seconds to go. If the stadium clock is official, when Aldridge stepped out, there were 9 seconds, and the clock would not start until the ball was put in play. So if Toronto could get the play out of the way in less than 9 seconds, they would have had the second down to try the field goal if they didn't get in close enough to try for the major score or get it on first down. But that's a coach's decision, and I feel probably that Cahill wanted to pick up that first down and the 3 points after the interception.
Speaking of coaches' decisions, I guess that's why they haven't gone to Prophet more than they have until this game. Everybody has said that over the past few years, you know, that they should have gone to Prophet more often. He's so tall. He's got good hands.
I'm sure that Mal is one of the better tight ends in the Eastern Conference, and he's showing it today. And as I mentioned on some of the replays, he has that ability to find the open spot.
And Gary Wood, you mentioned something about the ball. It seemed to me that some of his passes were a little short because he didn't have the confidence to really let go of the ball.
Well, I think that the weather such as today, and they've had a lot of it this year, bothers Gary a great deal. He's told me that he doesn't like to have that greasy ball, as we call it. It's not really wet. It's just more or less a slight film on it. And the ball in Canadian football is a little bigger. It's a little tougher to handle. And he made representation to Coach Goda, I think, about a week ago, that he'd like to go to the Duke ball that they use down in the States because it is a little thinner and easier to handle.
And in 5 seconds, what will happen in the second half?
Well, I think that Ottawa's going to throw the ball. I think they've abandoned the running game, and they're going to go to the pass.
Okay, the score is Toronto 15 and Ottawa 2, and we'll return with the second half kickoff in just a moment.
And I say that on November 3rd, the American people, the majority, are going to be...
I'm Don McNeil. The midterm elections in the United States have been the most hotly contested in recent history. The Republicans, led by President Nixon, are trying to capture control of the United States Senate. They have made the issue law and order. Democrat leaders, such as Senator Kennedy, say the major issues are the economy and the war. They dispute the claim that there is a rising conservative tide in America. From the three-way battle in New York, to the savage, expensive campaigns of the Midwest, to the showbiz of politics of California, it's the most important midterm election in years.
Ain't nobody got a wide-angle lens to cover this.
Walter Cronkite brings you up-to-the-minute results, and Gordon Donaldson and Don McNeil provide a Canadian viewpoint on the U.S. election special, Tuesday night on CBC television.
Back at CNE Stadium, getting ready to resume play here in the second half. The Ottawa Rough Riders are out, and I guess a few geese are out there, too. Down by the lake shore here at the CNE on this very damp, late October afternoon. There's that new Ontario pavilion, which has just sprung up out of Lake Ontario with landfill in the past year, nearing completion now for summer visitors in 1971 to become part of the Canadian National Exhibition Show. The halftime, understandably, taking a little longer today because of the ceremonies, retirement ceremonies for offensive tackle Danny Nicolak. The Rough Riders with their bench, anxious to go. And Russ, what can we look for in the second half in view of some of the defensive play that has been so outstanding, certainly reaction by defensive backs against Gary Wood's passes?
Don, I think one of the problems that Gary is having, and I mentioned it in the first half, is that he's having trouble reading that Toronto defense. When they start playing a particular man on a particular offensive player, such as Toronto is with Tomlin on Oldham and Thornton on number 23, Billy Cooper, they don't just do this on their man-to-man defenses, but they are doing it on all defenses. And it appears that all the 5 deep backs of the Toronto Argonauts are able to play all positions and be able to play the zone defenses from those positions, because this is what they are doing this afternoon, and it is making it very difficult for Gary to read the particular defense as to whether it is man-to-man or a zone defense. And this is one of the reasons, as well as the fact that the ball is, I'm sure, a little slippery down there for the number of interceptions that he's had in the first half.
Rough Riders now are going to kick off to start the second half, the third quarter. And the Argonauts have sent their 3 deep backs down with a lot of speed. Simons, Tomlin, and Ramey are stationed in the area of the goal line. McMillan, number 73, getting the ball squared away for the kickoff to begin the third quarter. 15-2. The Argonauts moving in for just the 1 touchdown. That was on the interception return by Chip Barrett. They scored in every other conceivable way, safety touches and single points and field goals to get 15 to a 2-point safety touch for the Rough Riders. And here we go with the kickoff. Jimmy Tomlin. Surrounded at the 25-yard line and then pushed back. Pivick, number 77, was right there for the Ottawa Rough Riders to make the tackle. They put the ball down at the 25. Wilkinson has gone all the way at quarterback, number 19. He's got Jim Thorpe, 20. Bobby Taylor, number 24. As the wide receivers, Mel Prophet, 75. As the tight end, Simons and Ramey, of course, with Simons, 14 in the slot right. Ramey. Too far. Bobby Taylor was the target of that Dave Ramey pass on the option play, and it now is 2nd and 10. Wayne Smith remaining at defensive end for Billy Joe Booth, who left in the first quarter, and Smith has replaced him ever since. Marshall Shirk, the defensive tackle, 53. Revenberg, 52, and Joe Vijek, 50, complete that front four. Simons, he'll throw to Ramey. Marcelin with the tackle across the 30-yard line. It is not a first down. They are 3 away from the first down. 3rd and 3 now for the Argonauts as Ramey trots off with the other offensive members of the team as Dave Mann, 16, gets set to kick. And that toe of Mann's has been a big factor in this game, especially in the first quarter, mounting up all those single points. Ottawa's 3 receivers between the 35 and the 40. Marcelin. He was collared by Bill Simons around the 43-yard line.
Russ, what do you really think about this football game tomorrow? Do you have any favorite? Do you think Hamilton should be able to come through, or do you think that Sonny Wade will be better with his new glasses?
Well, I understand Sonny is going to wear contact lenses, but Hamilton looked so strong last week, both offensively and defensively. I wouldn't count them out of winning that ball game, even though it is being played in Montreal.
First down. Charlie Lee. Knocked off balance by Tomlin, slid to midfield. First down, gain of 13 yards.
Who do you like in that game, Don? Really?
Hamilton on the current momentum. Montreal sluggish in the last couple of games, losing to Ottawa last Saturday. So if I had to pick a favorite, I guess Hamilton. But in this league, you just can't be sure. Twenty-yard line. The reception by Hugh Oldham, number 27.
Toronto attempting to disguise their zone defense, and Huey Oldham ran us more or less flattened down here, and Arenz was in good position on the zone defense, but he more or less got lost and couldn't keep his footing when the ball was actually thrown short. And Oldham, being a fine receiver, came back to receive it and puts Ottawa in probably their best scoring position of the afternoon.
That is, Russ. The previous best was the 20-yard line on the first series of plays. Now the ball between the 18 and the 19. First down. Gary Wood in big trouble. Lost the ball. Looks as though the Riders got it back. He was looking for Billy Cooper. He was running down to about the 5.
Jim Corrigal showing how a defensive lineman may use his hands on Mo Racine here as he comes in on a blitz from the middle linebacker spot. And they had good pressure with this blitz on the Ottawa offense, and they almost lost the ball here as Gary Wood was hit by about 4 Toronto defensive tacklers.
Braggins recovered that loose ball for the Riders, and that gives you some indication as to how eager the Argonauts were to sign Jim Corrigal in that bidding war with the St. Louis Cardinals last spring. A loss of 5 yards, second down at 15. Inskeep after Wolf. Down he goes. Gary Inskeep, The defensive end charging through a clear path, and as you saw, just flipped the feet out from under Gary Wood. So in 2 plays, the Rough Riders have moved from the 18 back to the 43. Third down and 35 yards to go.
Attendance at today's game, 31,794.
The attendance today, the first non-sellout the Argonauts encountered in 1970.
That could probably be blamed on the weather because it was just atrocious here this morning. That fringe area that came out at the last minute probably stayed home.
Freeman White, 76 into the game for the first time. He was Ottawa's 14th import. Long kick, Aldridge. White against him. He does not get it out. It will be a single point for the Ottawa Rough Riders. You can tell that Freeman White certainly hasn't been in this game very much. Not a mark on that uniform. 15-3. There's a timeout on the field with 11:05 to play in the third quarter. The score is Toronto 15 and Ottawa 3.
You've been hearing about the exciting new Starburst bonuses from Texaco. Now you can collect exclusive stereo albums simply by having your gasoline purchases recorded on your bonus card. Now I'd like to tell you a little bit about the albums. So come on along to Nashville and take a peek at 5 great albums featuring the Nashville sound. This is music country, and these albums are Texaco's salute to the real country and to you. Today's best singers are featured on Texaco's next group of stereo albums, great vocal encores for the young at heart. The best on record, Texaco's best to you for your entertainment. Hit power. Texaco gets it together with all the new sounds. And it's happening at your Texaco Starburst retailers. Instrumentally speaking, Texaco has music for every mood. Music for lovers, new favorites, old favorites. They're waiting at your Starburst Texaco retailers. We'll see you there.
We have no official indication yet, but it appears that Billy Joe Booth is the import taken out of the game for Freeman White, the designated import to appear for the Rough Riders this afternoon. First down from the 25 for Toronto. Wilkinson in trouble. Unloads to Simons. All the way to the 45-yard line of Ottawa.
That wasn't the particular play that Wilkinson wanted here. He wanted to roll out towards the strength to the left, but as Ottawa was doing in the first half, they were blitzing towards the strength with their 2 interior linebackers, and Simons completely out of the play. The ball was thrown back to him to that weak side where they hit Morrow earlier in the first half. And he did a lot of it here and got 2 good blocks from the receivers downfield. Billy Van Berkeley finally coming over to help pull him down.
The first big block was thrown by the guy they had the day for, Danny Nicolak, number 60. 39-yard gain. First down, Ottawa 46-yard line. Fake to Simon. Ramey at the 21-yard line. Ramey getting past John Crusp on that play. 25 yards, the length of the game. As the Argonauts now start to strike with their 2 biggest defensive weapons, Bill Simons and Dave Ramey. Both, of course, are aiming for the 1,000-yard mark in rushing. Simons was 131 yards shy at the start of today's game, and Ramey 175, away from 1,000 for the year. Here's Ramey. There he goes at the 22-yard line. Wayne Smith playing for Billy Joe Booth, the defensive end, number 75, taking him down in a crisp fashion. So there's a loss of 1, 2nd and 11. Tony Morrow and Mel Prophet, the tight ends for Toronto. Intercepted. Danny Dever. Thorpe's after him. Caught him at the 1-yard line.
These particular plays are the ones that give coaches nightmares. Wilkinson under extreme pressure here after giving a little fake to number 33, Bill Simon, threw the ball, and Dan Dever standing right in perfect position, headed downfield, and it appeared that no one would have an opportunity to catch him. He looked behind him to see if anybody was there, and Thorpe finally grabs him.
You know, if he hadn't looked back, he might have made it that extra step.
Here we have Wilkinson at ground level here with the pressure on him, and he wheeled out, and the ball was intercepted.
From the 2-yard line. Charlie Lee might have reached the 1. You mentioned him looking back. It did tell him one thing, to change course, and that probably was good for an extra 5 yards or so. What a recovery Thorpe made against Dever, who had a clear field of the end zone. The ball on the 1-yard line. 2nd down. That play doesn't get them in either. It's 3rd down coming up. Gene Wren. In disgust there, he thought that Charlie Lee was in. Now, coming in, Whip Tucker, number 26, with a play for Gary Wood from the Ottawa bench. It took one play for the Riders to travel 79 yards in the interception, and it's taken 2 to advance the ball to the 1. Okay, Russ, call the play.
He might bootleg that ball and maybe throw it or run it in himself.
Oh, boy. Right on the fence.
He heard you well. Hugh Oldham with the Ottawa touchdown.
A little fake in here on 3rd down and throwing that ball into the end zone for the touchdown. With Lee taking a fake, and if he'd taken the ball, I think he probably got in that time after 2 unsuccessful attempts. Toronto defense not expecting this, I don't think.
So the Rough Riders are right back in this game. It's 15-9. The extra point attempt coming up. Ivan McMillan, number 73. Gary Wood getting set to hold for him. McMillan is good. So suddenly these teams are just 5 points apart. And at the 4-minute mark of this 3rd quarter, the score is Toronto 15 and Ottawa 10.
Let's take a look at our playoff schedule on CBC. We pick it up, of course, next Saturday, depending upon what happens in these weekend games. We'll be broadcasting that game live starting at 2 o'clock. That's Toronto time. Then the Western Final, November 14th at 2 o'clock. November 18th, that's a night game. November 22nd, that's an afternoon game. And, of course, the Grey Cup, just 4 weeks from today, starting at 1 o'clock Toronto time.
The Argonauts moving well, had the interception picked off, and the Riders are right back into it. McMillan's kickoff. Simon slides near the 25-yard line. Greg Thompson made the tackle. And the last time these teams met here, the Argonauts also had a pretty good lead going for them until the Rough Riders just chipped away at it in the second half and nearly won the game. Now they've scored this touchdown to get them within 5 points, down 15-10. Plenty of time left, 6.5 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Deflected into the hands of Charlie Bray, and of course, Bray not eligible. Danny Dever had a chance for the interception, tipping the ball. Bray made the catch. And they'll sort this one out. Bray, of course, as a guard, is not eligible to receive passes.
Danny Dever, almost 2 in a row here, appears to be one of the Argonaut receivers as Wilkinson looks to his left and then wants to screen to the right. But Ottawa's been playing the screens well all afternoon. And Danny Dever, in good position here, has an opportunity to pick that off, and it's tipped ahead to Charlie Bray by an Ottawa receiver, and thus it is a first down or a second down play now with about 3 yards to go for the Toronto Argonauts.
The official dropped the flag and gave the decline sign, and so it will stay at the 31-yard line where it's second down and 3. That's Don Jonas forming up. 31-yard line, the line of scrimmage. Simons caught by the leg and contained right there. Wayne Smith made the move on him, grabbing him around the ankles, and the Argonauts do not have the first down. They send in Dave Mann and the punting team.
Dever, who had that interception for Ottawa to set up their touchdown, had one other interception against Toronto this season. Not nearly as impressive, though. It only went for 8 yards. But, of course, it gives them possession of the ball.
Riders have those 3 defenders back between the 30 and 40-yard lines. Man, low snap. Good bounce. Out to Barry Ardern, and he is crunched down at the 48-yard line by Walt Balasuk and Tony Morrow.
Quite a difference from last season, Russ. Last season, in the last regularly scheduled game, Ottawa came to Toronto, and they were enjoying a 2-0 advantage on the season play. Now it's just the opposite. And, of course, the team on the short end desperately trying, just for pride's sake alone, to make it a 2-1 situation. We'll see what they can do here.
Dave Mann's shortest punt of the day, 34 yards. Charlie Lee across the 50-yard line, ridden down around the 52 by Jim Corrigal, number 79. It will be a gain of 4 yards. 2nd and 6 to come for the Ottawa Rough Riders, suddenly back in this game in a big way, trailing 15-10. Just under 5 minutes of playing time left in the third quarter. Hugh Oldham out to the left side. Billy Cooper comes far right now for the Rough Riders on second down. That very quick toss surprised Oldham. Ball slipped through his hands, incomplete. He's really had a tough time today, Russ, holding on to that slippery football.
Well, the ball is being put down, Don, and as you can probably see in the picture, there are puddles, and when Gary or either of the quarterbacks, Wilkinson or Wood, gets the ball from the center, there is naturally going to be 1/4 of that ball that is going to be wet. And if the receiver gets that particular portion of the ball, it just slips right through their hands.
And so that sets up Van Berkeley with a third down punt. That's one of his better efforts to Sternberg. Out across the 20-yard line. Met by Wayne Smith again at the 21. And Smith is acquitting himself well, playing in Billy Joe Booth's spot for the Riders since the first quarter.
If Toronto should go on to win this football game, that would mean that the Eastern semifinal sudden death game would be here next Saturday, and I'm sure that the groundskeeper here at the C&E would desperately be praying for strong winds or colder temperatures to try and dry out this field.
And how fickle the fans are. One interception from Wilkinson. He comes back on for this series, and they boo him. Bill Simons on the sweep. He is out of bounds. The play has been stopped, but Simons does not know it. He will be out back at the 48-yard line.
This particular end sweep with Bill Simons has broken a lot of ball games wide open, and he's given Toronto Argonauts a great lift. Here he gets scales out in front of him. We'll watch him step out of bounds. Right there, he's out of bounds, and the official was right on the spot to call it.
And that, of course, hurt Simons in his attempt to reach the 1,000 mark in rushing. It turns out to be a 27-yard gain, as you see him there on the sideline. That is where the play terminated. 48-yard line of Toronto. Argonauts with the first down. Thorpe with Taylor come to the near side. Wilkinson ridden down at the 50. And hollering for a piling infraction, but again, the officials are calling an outstanding game right there. 2-yard gain. Bill Vajek brought Wilkinson down. So
Don, you mentioned Wilkinson got that boo after coming on the field following that throwing the interception. He's in pretty good company. His boss, the chairman of the board of the Argos, was given the same raspberry at the halftime ceremonies for Danny Nicolak.
There's a timeout on the field with 2:47 to play in the third quarter. The score is Toronto 15 and Ottawa 10.
Hi, I'm Bobby Gentry, and I have a surprise for you from Texaco. A great new Starburst bonus. Music. That's right. Texaco's newest bonus is a starburst of sound. Great sounds from 24 top stereo LPs. And what a choice you get. Great vocals, country and western, the young sound, pure gold instrumentals. Yes, they're all great songs by your favorite recording artists. Aretha Franklin, Duke Ellington, Percy Faith, Johnny Cash, Robert Goulet, Burl Ives, the Brothers Four, the New Christie Minstrels, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and many, many more. They're all part of Texaco's new Starburst of bonuses, an exciting addition to other great Starburst bonuses, and your reward for continuing gasoline purchases. I just think it's a great idea, and I know you will too. So start collecting your favorite Starburst LP albums today.
Second and 8.
The Ottawa bench, head coach Jack Gotta, his team in their final game of 1970, but it's an important game. The Toronto Argonauts, the Montreal Alouettes, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. First, second down play. Simons piled up into a big traffic jam. They will miss the first down by 8 yards. And Bill Simons, who was held to no gain on that play, has 36 yards today. That means that his season's rushing total now is 905 yards. So he's 95 away from the 1,000 mark for 1970. Just over a quarter of football in which to get them. Dave Mann's punt. Again, a low snap. And Ardern has to cover up at the 15-yard line. Mann was taken down after the snap, but the official right there ruled the defender, Jerry Campbell, was merely trying to prevent a collision and just sort of spun Dave around, and both went down.
Don, also when there is a bad center there and when the ball isn't handled, shall we say, cleanly by the punter, then they will not call roughing the kicker.
First down at the 15. Oldham left with Cooper. Gary Wood in trouble again. Here's a penalty call against Walt Balasek of Toronto, number 64. Harrington hit him, and then Balasek followed up a little too late.
Gary Wood trying to roll out to his left, and Harrington was blocked, but got to his feet, continued on in to get to Gary Wood as the coverage downfield by Tomlin and Thornton was good. And Balasuk comes in here now as we will watch.
That's a pretty good shot. So it goes from the 5-yard line where they made the tackle to the 20-yard line, and that is a gain of 5. 2nd and 5, Rough Riders. 15-10 is the score. The Argonauts lead. 1:51 remaining in the third quarter. Wren 32, Oldham 27. Marker thrown. 5-yard loss on the play for Gene Wren. Chip Barrett got to him. Offside against Toronto is the call.
In the middle of the Toronto line here, there seemed to be some indecision as to where the linebackers should place themselves. And then we had the interior lineman jumping offside to give Ottawa, if not a first down, it's going to be awfully close.
We've had very few penalties in this game. This is only the third one. Ottawa is clean so far as penalties are concerned. Toronto has picked up all 3.
Well, this has to be a first down. The 2 5-yard gains were by way of penalty. Although the first play, of course, a 15-yard penalty came from where that tackle was made. It looked to be dead on the 5-yard line, but they have to measure now to be sure. The ball is just nosing onto that 25-yard line. Now they set it back to where the indicator is on the sidelines, and they discuss it with the Argonauts and with the Rough Riders. Freeman White now coming in, number 76. Gene Wren, number 32, as the discussion continues. And I think we're going to have a measurement. The first today that I can recall. That is the first measurement, Ron Andrews points out. There's a good look at it. Shows you just how far away they are. Matter of inches. 2nd down to come now for the Ottawa Rough Riders. Now we're finally away. Gary Wood, quarterback sneak, gets across the 25-yard line to make the first down official by the look of it. A minute and 11 seconds remaining in this third quarter. The ball now at the 26-yard line for the Ottawa first down. Stewart in the slot right. Pivick, 77, the tight end, and 23, Cooper, coming wide right. Late exchange. Gene Wren was met by Gary Inskeep around the 28-yard line.
Don Wren was fortunate to hang on to that ball, as the exchange between Wood and Wren was not as nice as it might have been. We'll see it here as he comes in a little late. He doesn't quite get around to him, and Inskeep met him just as soon as he got that ball.
So make it a 1-yard gain between the 27 and the 28. 2nd down and 9 for the Rough Riders. Down to 15 seconds in the third quarter. Whit Tucker, 26, comes into the lineup now on the right side. The pass for Tucker was deflected, and Gary Wood took a pretty good shot back there from Jim Corrigal and Inskeep with the rush against him. So it's 3rd down and 9 on what should be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Sternberg is back with Aldrich for Van Berkeley's kick. They're standing near the Argonaut 45-yard line. Gary Sternberg at the 45, steps out at the 49-yard line. And Berkeley's kick was 38 yards. And at the end of the 3rd quarter, the score is Toronto 15 and Ottawa 10. We'll have more CFL action after this message.
Hey there.
Who, me?
Yes, you. You've changed. All Canadians have changed. You're more active. You dress differently. You're more demanding.
Right.
You want more, especially in cars. More features, more durability, more value. Like the 71 Impala Sport Coupe, the longest Impala ever. Longer, for a smoother ride. Here's the 71 Bel Air sedan. Like all big Chevrolets, Bel Air has a new double-panel roof to filter out noise. You wanted a change in wagons, too. The Kingswood Estate Wagon, with the neatest disappearing tailgate act ever.
Chevrolet has changed.
You've changed, so we've changed. Caprice, Impala, Bel Air, Biscayne, all GM Mark of Excellence cars.
Don Chevrier with Russ Jackson, Tom McKee, our spotter, Art Darch, and Ron Andrews, our statistician, C&E Stadium. John Jonas, number 13, comes in to quarterback the Toronto Argonauts to begin this 4th quarter. The line of scrimmage will be the 49-yard line of the Argonauts, where they have a 1st down. And they lead 15-10. It was 15-2 at halftime. Marcelin neatly knocked that ball away from Dave Ramey. So 2nd and 10 from the 49-yard line. Gary Wood has been thrown for 54 yards in losses 4 times today, and that reduces the Ottawa net offense to 99 yards. It's against 229 for Toronto. 1st downs are about even, 10-9 for Ottawa, or for Toronto. And the Argonauts have amassed 189 yards in yardage through the air. Wilkinson, 12 for 22 until his exit at the beginning of this 4th quarter. Van Berkeley, one man to beat. Touchdown. Now Bobby Taylor's into a scuffle back in the 30-yard line.
Toronto Argonauts lined up in a trips left for the first time in today's ball game, and Van Berkeley playing in his zone on the weak side, stayed back there and stepped in front of the intended receiver, Bobby Taylor, and picked it off and went for the touchdown.
And the Ottawa Rough Riders have the lead, 16-15 in front for the first time today, and pass interceptions have turned the tide around in this 2nd half. One by Dever got them down to the 2, and they get in on 3rd and 1 from there. And now this long scoring play covering 57 yards by Bill Van Berkeley. McMillan with the extra point attempt. The point after touchdown is good. And the Rough Riders are into a 17-15 lead, 14:07 left in the 4th quarter. And travel plans for the semifinal game are still up in the air.
Van Berkeley had 3 interceptions against Toronto this season, so as far as the Argonauts are concerned, he is certainly a pest, especially with that one as they take the lead.
And I suppose the Argonaut fans will have to give equal time to Don Jonas now because they were booing Wilkinson for the very same fate that...
They're running out of quarterbacks, too.
That's right. Here's McMillan's kickoff. Jim Henderson. Greg Thompson put a sure tackle on him at the 38-yard line. That short bounding kickoff. 14 minutes left. The Ottawa Rough Riders, the spoilers last week, winning 28-12 in Montreal, now leading the Argonauts in Toronto 17-15. As the Eastern Division of the CFL comes down to a wild finish here this weekend. Tomorrow, of course, Hamilton in Montreal, battle for first place. For Ramey, as Jonas had plenty of time, he got a good pass block from Bill Simons, gave him an extra 3 or 4 seconds. But the pass is incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Tony Morrow was out there wide open. He could have had a cup of coffee. He was so wide open. A little disgusted he didn't get the ball, too.
Since the arrival of Jonas, Don has been 0 for 3 with the 1 interception for the touchdown, of course, by Bill Van Brooklio. Simons surrounded, no gain. Danny Dever, that Canadian cornerback with a big play. 3rd down and 10. As the good ship Argonaut in rough waters here in the second half. Riders have their 3 defenders back near the 25-yard line for Dave Mann's kick. And that's showing Mann the respect he deserves. Arduran gets across the 40. Mel Prophet made the tackle. So from the 41, the Riders will put the ball in play. 35 yards was the length of that last kick. We have just over 13 minutes until full time. 17-15 for the Ottawa Rough Riders. Their coach Jack Gotta said last night, the ones you want to win above all others are your first game and your last game. Charlie Lee struggling. Jim Corrigal made the tackle on that last play. Bill Van Brooklio, apparently at the bench a while ago, said that he anticipated that play. He figured they were going to Bobby Taylor, and it had to be in that area, and he simply made a beeline, cut in front of Taylor. Thus the interception for the touchdown. Gain of a yard, 2nd and 9 it is from the 42-yard line for the Ottawa Rough Riders. Whit Tucker is out to the right side. Hugh Oldham set left. Ron Stewart in the slot right. Quick toss to Oldham, broken out by Jimmy Tomlin. So it is 3rd and 9. Just over 12 minutes remaining now. Bill Van Brooklio, who gave the Riders that lead, number 15, getting set to come in on his role as a punter. On 3rd down, Sternberg and Aldridge back near the 30-yard line. Sternberg on the right, Aldridge left. Sternberg at the 39-yard line.
Rather a strange game in many ways, Russ, because the you can't fault the Toronto defense. They've played very well, and you can't really give much credit to the Ottawa offense because they just haven't scored the points. They scored the first touchdown, of course, but that was set up on the interception, and then Van Berkeley's touchdown again.
Tom, I don't think either offense has been able to untrack themselves with the conditions on the field as they are this afternoon.
Jonas lost the ball from center. The Argonauts have won it back. Bob Swift, the center, number 53, recovered it.
The ball came up to Jonas, and he wasn't actually expecting that ball to come up to him. He hadn't actually got in under the center and never did have control of it, and it lay on the ground there for some time before Swift fell on it, and he and Jonas were fighting for the ball.
The loss is 2 yards back to the 38. 2nd and 12. Bland in now on the left side for Bobby Taylor. Jonas hit hard. Marshall intercepts. And Mel Prophet takes him down to the 47-yard line.
Man, he intercepted on Prophet, who was just as tall.
Marshall went up on this as Jonas slipped going back and under pressure. He went up high here to pick this away from Prophet because it appeared that Prophet had a good opportunity to catch that ball because of his size, and the ball was actually well thrown and right on the money.
There's a timeout on the field with 10:45 to play in this fourth quarter. The score is Ottawa 17 and Toronto 15.
The Folster family introduces Chevy's new little car, Vega. Actually, Vega is a family in itself. This is the standard sedan. It comes with bucket seats, front disc brakes, and a highly responsive 140 cubic inch overhead cam engine. The hatchback coupe, a very sporty little car, but also very practical. The whole back end opens up and the back seat folds down. You'll love it. This is the Vega Camback. It's a wagon and then some. Our fourth and final little car is actually a little truck. Vega, the little car that does everything well. Go see it, them, at your Chevrolet dealers.
This note may interest you. 3 of the last 6 Argonaut passes have been intercepted by the Ottawa Rough Riders. They have 4 in all today. Wren. He will lose a yard at the 47. Tackled by Jim Corrigal. The Riders have picked off 4 passes by Crust, Dever, Van Berkeley, and Marcelin. The Argonauts have 3 interceptions by Sternberg, Aldridge, and Barrett. And the Riders are playing no favorites. They've picked off 2 each from Wilkinson and Jonas. Second down with Tucker out to the left side. He's always a threat. And covered by Dick Thornton. On the sidelines, Oldham had a first down, doubled back to try to get away from Aldridge and Jim Tomlin, and it's very close. But Russ, I guess you don't bother to stop, and you got the ball in your hands, and you have defenders coming at you to see exactly if you have the first down.
Not really, although in that particular play, the initial back up on top of him, the linebacker more or less got lost because Oldham went down and ran more or less a 20-yard comeback, and he did have the first down, and I was surprised he didn't just sit in there and get out of, because he must have seen the markers out of the corner of his eye on the left-hand hash mark there on the left-hand sideline.
And it looks as though the Rough Riders are going to go. Third down on a matter of inches here. They sent in Freeman White, their tough blocking tight end, to try to open up something for them. Gary Wood keeps, and he will have the first down at the 50-yard line. Jack Gotta with a dangerous gamble there because he leads by just the 2 points. Had he failed, would give the Argonauts the ball near midfield. Had he punted, of course, would pin them deep at their end of the field. 8 minutes and 40 seconds remain. Got a gambles and wins. So this is indicative of how a team in last place can be last in terms of standings only, but tough in every game they play. You recall last year, the Montreal Alouettes, late season spoilers, being out of it. Now this year, the Ottawa Rough Riders hoping to finish up with 2 straight wins. Wood was hit by Aldridge at the 50-yard line. Very little gain. It will be 2nd and 10. With Tucker coming back into the Ottawa offensive lineup, and Gene Wren, number 32, trots over to the bench. Gary Wood with his team in the huddle. Molesine, 62, breaks out. Offensive tackle. With Tucker is wide right. Oldham on the left side. Intercepted by Sternberg. He stepped out. 43, there was a flag thrown.
Ed Harrington is just a little grumpy on that call.
And at the 8-minute mark of the 4th quarter, the score is Ottawa 17 and Toronto 15.
Look, Camaro, the super hugger, with a fully responsive engine designed to run efficiently on no lead, low lead, or regular fuels. A 108-inch wheelbase that hugs any kind of road. Camaro, smooth, sure, makes you feel like part of the road. Where does it all happen? Here. 1971. You've changed, we've changed. Camaro, a GM Mark of Excellence car.
A 15-yard penalty for clipping against the Argonauts. Takes the ball back after the interception by Sternberg to the 27-yard line, and Leo Cahill has number 19, Tom Wilkinson, back in as quarterback. 7 minutes left. Wilkinson, chased by Revenberg, dropped down to the 30-yard line. He will gain a couple.
Don, had he been able to turn upfield and get some traction on that field down there, he might have gone for a lot of yards, because actually the Ottawa defense had blitzed, and they turned it all outside, and Wilkie tried to get inside the oncoming linebackers, but just couldn't find the footing to head upfield.
The Argonauts must win this game to guarantee a second-place finish in the East this year. They cannot finish first, of course. It's second or third for them. Rough Riders having a big say in where they finish up. 2nd down and 7. Tom Bland, sideline pattern just overthrown by 5 yards, and it is 3rd down now with 7 to go. The Argonauts, by tying this game, would still have a chance to finish second if Hamilton can beat Montreal. Actually, there are 9 different possibilities based on the outcome of this game and the Hamilton-Montreal game tomorrow, determining who goes 1, 2, 3 in the final standings. Dave Mann, good kick. Back to the 25-yard line. Marcelin out to the 35-yard line. 55-yard kick by Dave Mann.
So, Russ, what does Ottawa do now? They're enjoying a 2-point advantage. Do they try to guard that? Do they try to play careful football, or just one?
Tom, I think they'll go after more points. I don't think they'll sit on that 2 points now with about 6 minutes to go, and they've got nothing to lose, and I think they'd like to win by more than 2 points if they could. I don't think they'll sit on it.
Charlie Lee will lose yardage back at the 31. Mike Bloom, number 70, got to him. Second down and 14 yards to go now for Ottawa. It's time. Field position becomes very important for the Toronto Argonauts. They want to hold the Riders here and hope to get this ball back about the 45 or 50. Their own 45 or 50. 5 minutes exactly remain now. 17-15, Ottawa lead. Whip Tucker is in along with Billy Cooper. And Wood dropped again. The safety blitz from Sternberg. Jim Corrigal there to back him up. Wood dropped at the 16-yard line. And now on third down, the Argonauts are going to get that ball around midfield.
Harrington coming here with Aldridge trying to get inside, and Harrington trying to get over the top. And Corrigal, who's been strong as a middle linebacker this afternoon, showing good speed here, manages to help Sternberg pull down Wood for, as Don mentioned earlier, that important field position.
Third down and almost 30 yards to go. Bad snap. Gets it away nicely. Sternberg at the 45-yard line. And the Argonauts are about 20 yards better off than they thought they might be. With 4 minutes and 18 seconds to play. And it'll be Tom Wilkinson at quarterback. This partisan Toronto crowd gives it a chant, "Go Argos, go." Land and Thorpe are going to be the flankers. They split. Thorpe left, Land right. Dave Ramey gallops inside the 40-yard line. Jerry Campbell met him there, and the gain is going to be 7.
This next play, Don, could be one of the biggest plays of the afternoon, because if Toronto do pick up that first down, they then, with 2 or 3 more plays, would put themselves in good position for at least an attempt at a field goal.
They actually had the better part of 4 yards to go in the second down play. Simon. Very close to a first down, just inside the 35-yard line. Bill Van Berkelio met him, number 15. Clock shows 3:13 remaining. And the officials summoned from the far sideline for a measurement. It is a first down to the Toronto Argonauts. There's a timeout on the field with 3:13 to play in the fourth quarter. The score is Ottawa 17 and Toronto 15.
Introducing the big, new, luxurious 1971 Chevrolet station wagon. Your wagon. We've talked to a lot of you wagon owners and find you want still more room, comfort, safety, and convenience. So we've made you the biggest, most accommodating Chevrolet wagon ever. You said you prefer a third seat that faces forward, so we gave it to you and gave you loads of cargo space behind. But the most important change of all in the new Chevrolet station wagon is this. Watch. Simply turn the key to raise the window. Then lower the gate. It's Chevrolet's brand new vanishing tailgate that glides completely out of the way for easy loading in tightest quarters. And only General Motors offers wagons with the new vanishing glide-away tailgate. You've changed in all that you ask of an automobile. And we've changed in all of the ways that we answer. That's what putting you first is all about.
We resume play with 3:13 to go in the final quarter. Ottawa 17, Toronto 50. In line of scrimmage is the Ottawa 34, and the Argonauts have a first down. Simon, no gain. Marcelin, Van Berkeley, and Danny Dever all there with the tackles. 2nd and 10. This game certainly brings back memories of those great Ottawa-Toronto battles of 1969. Wilkinson slipping and losing yardage at the 43-yard line. That puts them out of field goal range.
The question now is, Don, do you punt on 3rd down, as I think the Argonauts will do, and hope that your defense can take that ball away from the Ottawa Rough Riders without giving them a first down?
That is the plan as Dave Mann gets set for kick, and he can boom them deep. Riders may be inclined to give up a single point. Man needs a bounce and gets a big one into the end zone. And the single point will be given up. Billy Cooper back there to make it a 17-16 game now. 2 minutes and 5 seconds to go. And the Ottawa Rough Riders will start from the 25-yard line. And we need not remind you, don't go away. C&E Stadium buzzing here. The Rough Riders, first down. Charlie Lee, no gain, perhaps a slight loss. Harrington was right there. Wadsworth, 59, along with him. 2nd down.
Loss of a yard. 2nd and 11.
The Rough Riders, of course, at this stage, not prone to putting the ball in the air. And the Argonauts have an inclination to know that. 1:40 as the clock is counting down those precious seconds here in the last couple of minutes. Gary Wood taking plenty of time. Goes with a draw play and just got back to the line of scrimmage. Charlie Lee again was the ball carrier, his big fullback, who does not relish from letting going. So it is 3rd down and 10 from the 25, and the Riders will have to turn the ball over to the Argonauts on a 3rd down punt with 1 minute and 23 left. Tomorrow, the Alouettes and the Tiger Cats, the Autostad in Montreal for 1st or 3rd place, depending on what happens here today. Those 9 possibilities are still alive until this one is over. And Berkeley the kick. Almost blocked. Dick Thornton getting there. Sternberg at the 53-yard line. Wayne Smith, number 75, brought him down at the 53, and the clock shows less than 1 minute, 57 seconds left. Dick Thornton made a supreme effort to get to that ball as Van Berkeley was letting it go. Wilkinson at quarterback. Henderson in now, 72 with Bland, wide left. Out to Henderson, looking for Simon. Got him. 10-yard line.
A razzle-dazzle play with Henderson coming into the ball game. Wilkinson throwing that ball on a lateral pass, and Simons, who started as an inside wingback, went downfield, and he hit him perfectly. He's a big quarterback out there.
Going to say, perhaps the Argonauts have finally found their quarterback this afternoon, Jim Henderson. They put it down at the 11-yard line. 33-32. 30 seconds left. Bobby Taylor's in there. Just back to the line of scrimmage was Bill Simon.
Don, they're content to put that ball right in front of the goalpost now and put all the pressure on their field goal kicker and make sure they get that 3 points for the win.
And out comes Don Jonas right now with a field goal team. They do not want to run the risk of using up any more time. 22 seconds left. They're going to go for it right now. Dick Thornton's going to hold. It'll come from around the 18-yard line. Almost straight ahead. That's good. And a jubilant Toronto Argonaut team congratulating Don Jonas. Toronto 19, Ottawa 17, 6 seconds left.
The guy walking off the field last, Bill Simons, who made the big catch to put them in position for that field goal.
Riders will have just this one play, barring penalty. Argonauts going to prevent defense. And that should do it. There's the gun. And the game is over. The final score, Toronto 19, Ottawa 17. We'll be back with our summary and statistics in just a moment.
In today's changing world, we Canadian women want things just right, like not too thick, not too thin, not too short, not too tall, not too big, not too small. Like Nova, the not too big, not too small Chevrolet. Small enough for any lady, big enough for 6, with luggage. And Nova's just right for any lady's budget, or any man's. Nova, see your Chevrolet dealer.
This is the Vegas Standard Sedan, our most inexpensive model. And although it's inexpensive, there's definitely nothing cheap about it. Because even our standard sedan comes with an overhead cam aluminum engine, front disc brakes, front bucket seats, and a floor-mounted gear shift. All standard. Vega. It's a lot of car for such a little car.
One play, one big play could turn a game around, and that was the story this afternoon. The clock down to less than a minute remaining when Jim Henderson, a flanker who doesn't play that much, strictly a backup man, came in for the Toronto Argonauts and took the flip from quarterback Tom Wilkinson and relayed that ball 50 yards downfield to Bill Simons. Perfect execution. Simons getting down to the 11-yard line, and in 2 plays, the Argonauts had the field goal that turned a 17-16 defeat into a 19-17 victory. But at halftime, it appeared the Rough Riders wouldn't even be close. They trailed 15-2 at that point. But defensive plays made it for them in the third quarter. They came back to get 1 touchdown after Dever picked off a Wilkinson pass and lugged the ball to the 2. Oldham getting a touchdown flip from Wood for that score, making it 15-10. Then Bill Van Berkelio intercepting off Don Jonas, traveling 57 yards for the score. The Rough Riders at a 17-15 lead in the fourth quarter. single by Dave Mann, narrowed it down to 17-16, and then the dramatic play, Wilkinson, Henderson to Bill Simons for the play that set up the Don Jonas field goal, which traveled 18 yards. Now let's go down to Tom McKee, who's got Jim Henderson with him.
Number 72, Jim Henderson, is certainly the hero of the hour here in Toronto for these many thousands of Argonaut fans. Jim, that was quite a play. Could you tell us about it again?
Well, we'd practice it once this week at practice, and I just flank out there a little deeper, and he throws the ball to me, and I just looked downfield, and Cy was open. That was all there was to it.
Of course, you have had experience as a throwing quarterback, right?
I played quarterback a couple of years for the Scarborough Rams, and I went down to Simpson College as a quarterback, but they shifted me to a wide receiver down there.
That was quite a game all the way through, too. Did you think you were really going to pull it out there in that last?
Well, we got a potent offense. I think we could always do it.
Okay, Jim, we'll let you get away here, and I'll get away, and it'll be safe somewhere else.
A very noisy scene there, those jubilant Argonaut fans in behind Tom McKee and Jim Henderson. And here are the stats for the game. Even in first downs, total offense, a big edge for Toronto, 232 to 94 for the Ottawa Rough Riders. Those team losses are worthy of note, 68 yards. Those are the number of yards Gary Wood had to suffer losses on plays from scrimmage against a charging Argonaut defense this afternoon. They came in many key situations in the game. Wood was good on 10 of 30, about 30%, and the two Argonaut quarterbacks, Wilkinson and Jonas, 13 of 29, but the interceptions were the big story, 4 apiece, and the Riders used 2 of theirs to get a touchdown or very close to one. The punting became important late in the game. 43 yards was the average of Dave Mann. The penalties, all against Toronto, 4 of them, for a total of 50 yards. And so C&E Stadium is going to be the scene next Saturday afternoon of the semifinal game in the Eastern Conference. The only problem is we do not know yet whom the Toronto Argonauts will be up against, the Montreal Alouettes or the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and that issue is to be decided tomorrow afternoon over at the Autostad in Montreal. Russ, that's as exciting a game as we've had all year.
Well, Don, we've had a lot of them recently, and certainly when you're going for that particular playoff spot and when you have to win a ball game and you can come up with a big play such as Toronto did, I think it could be a big lift in going into the playoffs for them. I felt throughout the ball game that Toronto did not have too much zip. They didn't have too much going for them offensively until that last big play. They'd make maybe one play. They'd have Simons go around the end for maybe 20 or 30 yards, but then they couldn't continue with anything. So I just felt that they didn't have too much offense going. One of the plays here with Wilkinson faking to Simons, wanting to throw to the left. He came back to that weak side after Ottawa had blitzed off that zone, and Ottawa was hurt 2 or 3 times during the game in this particular situation. And he turned outside here, and Marcelin did a good job of getting off a block, but Simons went downfield here for some good yardage, and certainly he had a good ball game again, and making that catch near the end certainly was the big play of the ball game. Wilkinson, as Wood and Jonas had problems throwing the ball, Wilkinson got into trouble on this particular play, a similar fake to Simons, and Danny Dever, who is playing a whale of a game at corner linebacker for Ottawa in the last half of the season, just stayed in position. He stayed at home, as they say, and he stepped in front of the receiver, picked it off, and it looked like he had a clear go to the sideline, to the end zone, but Thorpe coming on here managed to catch him on about the 2-yard line. The big play up until the Henderson to Simons pass was the interception by Billy Van Berkeley on Jonas, who came in for a couple of series here and had 2 interceptions. He was trying to hit Bobby Taylor coming back against the grain, and Billy Van Berkeley, playing in a zone on the weak side of the defense, stayed in position and stepped in front of Bobby Taylor and took it into the end zone. And we had 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns today, one by each team, and certainly it's not too often you see this. This was the cruncher. This is the play. Wilkinson out to Henderson. Simons, who started on the inside as a wing, went downfield, and the ball had to be thrown well because we'll notice that an Ottawa defender was not too far behind Simons, and quite often when you've got a halfback or an end trying to throw the ball, he will throw it short and not get the ball out there. But Henderson threw that on a clothesline and right into Simons' hands. The next play they ran in front of the goalpost, and the pressure was on Jonas, and he came through.
You notice, too, in the corner of that picture that Henderson took as solid a rap as any quarterback does when getting that ball away, and he stood up right in there and made sure that his arm came right through, didn't falter a moment.
He stood right in there as though he had gone back in the pocket and was under the gun and the pressure, and he threw the ball and did take a rap, as quarterbacks do quite often. And sometimes when a person such as Henderson or a halfback is throwing, they will tend to fade away when they deliver the ball, and this is why they quite often throw short.
Well, now it is up to the Alouettes and the Tiger Cats. As we said, a strange situation. Not first or second place, but first or third place tomorrow afternoon.
Yes, it's not too often that you're playing the final ball game to decide who is going to end up in first place and who is going to end up in third place, but that's the situation tomorrow. So it becomes a big ball game, because it's been proven in the past that the team that ends up in first place quite often does end up in the Grey Cup, because they have that week's rest. They have that semifinal game they do not have to participate in, get over the minor hurts and so on. So it is probably, and I think we have to say, it's the biggest ball game of the year.
Well, even more important, too, to the loser of tomorrow's game, rarely, if ever, does a team go from third place all the way.
Well, this is a very difficult situation, because in that sudden death game when you have to play away from home, and we played in a lot of them in my first few years with the Ottawa Football Club, I have expressed the idea that it is the toughest game, I think, of the year, because you don't really play your regular game plan, and when you're away from home, the pressure is on even more so, and you tend to tighten up a little bit in that sudden death semifinal. You don't really let out, and you really don't get the game plan going as early as you might in a ball game in the middle of the season.
Okay, Russ, and so the final standings go right down to the final game of the season tomorrow. And next Saturday, we're right here at the C&E for that sudden death Eastern semifinal game on the full CBC network. And now, to Tom McKee and Russ Jackson, on behalf of our sponsors and the CBC Television Network, this is Don Chevrier bidding you all a very pleasant good afternoon.
Canadian professional football, brought to you by the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation and its affiliated stations from coast to coast, bringing you the best in sports action.
And by General Motors of Canada Limited, on behalf of General Motors dealers throughout Canada, who invite you to see and drive the new Mark of Excellence cars for 1971.